Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zach Cherry, and with me as always is.
I don't give gifts, just should give them May. Gifts should mean something. Happy sweet 16th. Eddie of Edward's Truth.
Today we're talking about My Soul to Take,
Yeah.
released October 8th, 2010. This was Wes Craven's second to last movie before Scream 4,
hmm
and the last movie he wrote as well as directed.
I am. I. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Like, what? Wait, okay. Do we know if it was based on something else? Like, was it just an idea that he had, or is there like, is it like, Last House on the Left was Virgin Spring, his version of that?
I don't know
Okay,
what's going on here. I think that there was like a lot of production meddling and stuff like there
sure.
from what I interpreted, the opening scene was reworked
hmm
and the entire last act was reworked.
Yeah, you can
So
see the storyboards at the end credits too.
which
Like
I
there's a bunch of
love.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of images that I'm like, that wasn't in the movie. Like there's a point where it looks like Fang and Bug, these names,
Fang and
are
Bug,
on the
yeah.
floor, and it looks like Fang is holding a gun that she's like positioning to like shoot someone to protect Bug. I mean, it's very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, there's a lot to uncover with this movie, and we actually watched this together for the first
Yes.
time. We watched it together. I think this was about 5 years ago.
Or
Um,
so, yeah.
we
Yeah.
were attempting a like I guess our little foray into reacting to stuff,
This was the second
and
thing, was it not?
I don't remember what how many we had done or but whatever like that. But um, this is where I learned very quickly that I don't like reacting to things. I don't I mean, am I a reactive person? Like, do I?
You can be.
Yeah, but it's just I find the concept of reacting to things and I to people out there who react to movies and do that as like a thing. I know you did it
Yeah.
for a while, but just like channels that do this, like I just don't feel I don't think that it's authentic. I feel that it's not real because I know especially with most of them they're like first time watching,
Uh,
and I don't know, maybe it just people's brains are programmed differently, but we were watching this thing and I felt like we couldn't actually absorb the material because we were constantly like acknowledging what was going on. And I feel like with a movie like this where there's just so much exposition that is just constantly threaded throughout the thing that it's really hard to have a running commentary while you're watching it. So I don't know, what do they do? Do they like pause the movie while they're reacting and then
Sometimes, so
say
I
what?
mean,
Yeah.
well, it's also like riffing. Like, I mean, kind of like the same way I do this with my sister often when we watch
Hmm.
things. Like, not in the movie theater, unless the movie theater's empty except for us. But we'll sit and we'll watch something and we'll call things out, as we watch them. And if we miss something, we can always run it back. But um, you find a way to choose your moments. Like, it's not about kind of like making an impression or showing off or anything like that. It's just kind of like it's almost like a call and response. The thing gets said on the screen and then you say the thing that's in your heart, that is often like aligning hopefully with like a reaction shot of someone who is saying nothing. You're just
Right.
kind of, I don't know, you're participating. But because I mean, I think that's what I did when I would watch things for my little movie reactions that I did. I only did like what, six or something. But
And they were all like the most obscure movies ever that like uh
well, I needed something that wasn't going to get
yeah.
flagged in the beginning in particular, because oh, here we go.
Fragged, yeah.
This is right here.
Well,
Pumpkin.
it's yeah, so this was the first experience we had with the movie, and
Yeah.
we just like I I I mean, can I speak for both of us? Because I feel like we had a very shared experience with it, right?
You can try. Go for it.
Well, okay, well, I'll speak for myself then. Like I hated it, and I think that we found more things to laugh about in the movie than like anything else. Like I honestly, like I had no idea what was going on
Uh-huh.
through most of it, and partially because we're reacting to something
Gotcha.
that's going live. But this is where we kind of like created the idea of like the Mason Verger character
Hmm.
from Hannibal, but like mixed with Courtney Shane from Jawbreaker, which has just been like our favorite little inside joke. Probably like much to a lot of people's, maybe enjoyment or annoyance. I have no
Hmm.
idea, but
Well, it
just
started as Courtney, actually, because I
yeah.
remember when Fang first walked into, what do they, I mean, okay, what do they call it? Like a Fang zone in the girls' restroom?
Things, which
Yeah.
the note was on the inside of the door,
I
was
guess
it?
that means it's her stall. That's where she puts her business and pulls the chain.
Okay. Only
But
she can.
she,
Okay. Yeah.
when she walked in, it was very much like Courtney Shane walking into the girls' room, just going like, "All right, bitches, out," and just waiting for them to be like pushed out, like,
Yeah.
you know. And that's where we get introduced to Fern Mayo, you know. But
Yeah.
so
Well, I
we
guess Fern
started
Mayo in this case is
Bug.
Bug. Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't get introduced to him in that moment, but like
Yeah.
he's hiding. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, we started there and then we noticed that the actress who plays Fang slash Leia had a bit of a speech impediment, kind of like a happy sweet 16th, like I
Well, you
just
called
did
it
at the beginning.
a sibilant
A
S.
sibilant S, yes.
Yeah.
And
And we were kind of I mean maybe this was mean of us, but we were laughing along. But but I enjoy her. I actually
I
really
do
like
too.
that character. She might be my favorite character of the piece,
It's like this.
actually.
You can't do an impression of her without it. If you're going
Yeah.
to like pay true homage, you need to do it the way she did it. And
Yeah.
but the more I think I did it a few times, and the more we did it, the more you were just kind of like you're starting to sound like Mason Verger. Then we started doing lines of hers as Mason Verger, and then we started doing Courtney's lines as Mason Verger because we realized she's kind of I guess a conglomerate. She's like
I
Monstro Elizasu. She's like Monstro
yeah. Well,
Mason Fang.
we kind of yeah I think we came to the conclusion that Mason Verger, the character from Hannibal,
Yeah.
would essentially be a
Courtney
Courtney
Shane.
Shane in high school. Like he was the mean girl
Hmm.
who had his minions, his like Foxy and Cordell,
And I,
and
because I know Jawbreaker so well, I just kept, Rose McGowan lines just kept occurring to me. So I just kept saying them into Mason Verger and we realized, oh my
yeah,
God, what a fucking perfect fit.
yeah,
Because there's this just like, life's about and then you die. And then like, no, Courtney, you're the bitch. So
yeah.
aggressive.
Hmm.
Kind of turns me on.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my, that's Mason Verger. So
But yeah,
yeah.
you just like leaned very heavily into the Mason Verger of it all, even though she doesn't sound anything like Mason Verger.
No, but
But
Fang
but but the
does.
but the no 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 but no, that's right. Fang doesn't sound like
Oh,
Mason
okay.
Verger, but
No,
like
she just had a shibboleth test
it's
like
the
us.
same like I can feel the energy. Like
Yeah.
you are so clueless. It is stunning. Happy sweet 16.
Yes. Oh my God.
Wes, do you want me to take that again?
Yeah,
Like,
and
no,
it was
that's
just kind of
fine.
like, no, darling, that's just the way you talk. Just
Yeah.
let's move on. Let's keep. Oh, I
Yeah.
think Mary Ash was sibilant in that take. It's sibilant in every take, hon. Just the audience is going to eat it up. Believe me.
Yeah.
Believe me. I am Wes Craven, famous filmmaker of the era. So you will, you will
Yeah.
wow the audiences.
But
Which
yeah,
okay, this movie did not.
well we ended up I guess coasting through the last half of this movie by just making these jokes, and that was sort of this entire reaction
Yeah,
video, if you will. And then we never did a reaction video. Well, we did. We
we
did
tried.
we tried to do John Carpenter's
Memoirs of
Memoirs
an
of an
Invisible
Invisible
Man.
Man,
It's almost
and
unwatchable, guys.
it's an unwatchable movie.
We couldn't even make fun of it. After a while,
Yeah.
we were just
There were just long periods of nothing. And then if we were talking, we were just like, this sucks. Like,
And I remember you were worried. You were just kind of like, I feel like we're just sitting here not saying anything. I'm like, yeah, but it'll all edit together. Like, just this part just won't be something that gets featured. Because the edits were, I think, what, 15, 20 minutes long out of these like 90-minute
I don't
movies
know.
or plus. So I remember
Yeah.
thinking like, okay, well, you'll just extricate like all the
Yeah.
the highlights. But
The
there were so few. It was not
the
fun.
the other one we did was Black Christmas
2019, and
2019.
that was fun.
That was well, because we just tore it to shreds. And
But I mean, not intentionally. We didn't move into any of these films thinking like, yeah, we're gonna rip a new asshole
I
for
mean,
this
I
one.
had seen Black Christmas 2019
And
in
I
the theater,
hadn't.
so I
Yeah.
I was knew what to expect, but I was kind of like, you know what, like what would this be on a second viewing? So it
Sure.
wasn't really a reaction
Yeah.
per se of like, like the first time watching. But so I'm the fraud actually. Um
Physician,
I'm
heal thyself.
the great
Yes.
big phony over
The
here.
hypocrite. Hypocrite.
But
Yeah.
that's a lost video. I don't have it anymore. I
We
think
only have the highlights that I put together in my
yeah.
story that I think I screenshot, and they're in my Instagram still. So you can watch My Soul to Take and our reaction to Black Christmas 2019 on
Okay,
my
yeah. I'm,
Instagram
I'm
to
glad
this
that
day. Yeah.
you're at Edward is Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Um, but you weren't hot on this movie.
Well, this is the thing. First time we watched it, I don't remember even hating it. I just remember being really confused. And I think we did wonder after it was over if we would have gotten more of it if we weren't riffing on it while we were watching it and
Hmm.
having so much fun doing Bruce McGowan lines as Mason Verger.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, sitting through it, this is only the second time I've ever seen the movie. So uh, I think we were right to be confused because I feel like maybe the things that we guessed at might be happening kind of pretty much were, but it doesn't make them make any more sense. I don't feel like this is a seamless experience or I just kind of understand exactly what Wes Craven was going for now. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm uh it's there the word truncated came to mind a few times because it literally has no flow as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if you feel that.
It definitely feels like there is no structure
Yeah.
with acts. It definitely has like a first act, and
Hmm.
it's a very long first act. And I think that
Yeah.
probably about the hour mark into the movie, it shifts into the finale,
Hmm.
which is a very long finale that just sort of like goes up because it's like most of the movie takes place in the beginning because we have the prologue, we
Right.
have sort of like around the town and in the woods, and then the kids at school, and then in the woods again. But then the finale like all takes place in Bug's house,
Right.
and that is probably like 45 minutes of the movie. So it's yeah, it's and it just feels like it's split in two. Like there really is no second act.
Well, that's
And
the
I've
thing.
noticed a lot of movies that do that, and it always
Yeah.
kills the pacing. Like it just feels
Well,
weird.
because also even just like the first act, like post prologue, like
Mhm.
the way we get ushered in, it I think the reason it feels so truncated to me is because I think I checked the timestamp. Where was I? I was about I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know. I was deep into the film. I had already taken several notes, and I was just kind of like, look how far I am into this movie. I think there was an hour left, so I must have been like 45 minutes or so into the movie. And I still didn't feel like there was any like direct plot that I was following. I feel like I was
Mhm.
still getting to know people and still just kind of like occupying space with them. And there's room for a movie like that, but um because I'd already witnessed it once, like while riffing, but still, I remember how it ended, and I just kind of sat there thinking like this really isn't going to satisfy me, is it? Like ever? While I sit watching
Mhm.
it, I think if you want to feel, interestingly enough, ironically enough, satisfied by watching this movie, you need to just put away any kind of expectations of satisfaction and just let it wash over you. And
Yeah.
because there's a lot of little pockets of kind of special things that are so weird, but they're not like campy. They're just strange.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. And this is definitely a movie that I was actually reading online that I guess there had been some sort of reappraisal for it, which I've not like experienced anywhere in any horror community. I'm not looking for it though, so that might be it. But I would think a movie like this would probably depreciate over time because this is the kind of movie that you have to give your full attention to. Like you
Yeah.
cannot be like I mean case in point reacting to it, but put your phone away, put anything away,
Hmm.
and you just have to pay attention because like especially like the prologue,
Oh
which is
yeah.
just sort of like it's quickly edited of just, and I actually really enjoyed the prologue, but it's like you have to be paying attention to every single frame and every line that's going on because there's like dialogue that's like in the background and all that noise. And I actually kind of appreciated I guess the economy of it all, of just how it's like, okay, we're just going right for it. Like it was moving really fast at the beginning.
Sure.
And even beyond that, like when we jump ahead in time
Hmm.
and the first thing we get is really this like huge exposition dump, which it's like none of these people would be having this conversation. I mean, it's just the whole scenario feels
Oh
so
boy.
unrealistic, but
Hmm.
like of like all these kids just congregated in the woods doing whatever this ritual is. But even that they're like, just in case you're not up to speed
Yeah.
on what's happening and who we are and what this is, let me just remind you all of it. And that to me, it just feels like, did Wes Craven like mean for that to happen? Like, is this something that was reworked? Because it really feels like very lazy screenwriting. And I know that Wes Craven um, is well aware of, or was well aware of how poorly this film was received, and I think that that
Hmm.
was actually something that really upset him because he had a lot of love and passion for this movie, as he should,
Right.
of like
Right.
most of his movies that he gives a shit about,
Of course.
and it just was not received the way that he expected it to, and um, I don't know. That might have been like the studio meddling, or if things were changed. And I mean, like that poor man, like that happened so much to him, like Cursed and
Yeah.
Scream 4. I mean,
Hmm.
really, like most of the Scream movies outside of the original, but like I feel like still with like Scream 2 and 3, he was able to triumph
Hmm.
around all of the craziness that was happening. But like obviously Scream 4 was a hellacious experience for him, and that was his last movie.
Yeah.
So this was just sort of like he was probably making the most money
Mm.
of his career around this
Hmm.
time and just and doing these movies, but it just
Hmm.
did not seem like it was a good time,
Well,
especially with just like the way that the the studios would alter his vision and the way that
yeah.
audiences would respond to it.
Well, and the landscape was shifting as far as just like, I mean, it always is, but I mean,
Hmm.
God, look at us now. But in terms of like, he was always someone who was willing to play ball, who was willing to kind of like, compromise on some things, and he chose his battles, I think, really, really wisely, once he got into the studio system. But also, I mean, the studio system, like, that he first kind of like really broke through with was like New Line during with Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
and that was an infant of a movie studio at the time. So it was basically him and Bob Shaye having arguments. I think
Yeah.
it's different when you have like a panel of people, and like we won't get into all that, but
Yeah.
when you have so some who might be very corrupt and might have the wrong uh end game in terms of like what they want this, or even I don't even know if there's an end game. I feel like the fights that he was coming up with were just kind of like outlandish, insane kind of demands on this piece of work that he had, tried to shape and was trying to kind of like collaborate with other people to make realized as something that could be
Hmm.
like another glorious campfire story kind of thing.
Yeah.
And instead it just ends up becoming like this brassy, thing that you have a poster to sell with a name on it that everybody knows, so they know they're going to throw their money at
Which
it.
was converted to 3D
Yeah,
last minute for its release.
crazy.
Um, but I was gonna say like I was actually really enjoying the absurdity of the movie
Mm,
for like like the first half. I think that it's just sort of derailed in the last act, even though there's a lot, like you were saying, like just pockets of things that were strange that I enjoyed
right.
later on, but it felt like, I couldn't really pick up the through line of what was going on here.
Right.
But all of the stuff with like at the school and like the other students and that, which didn't really like always feel like a horror movie. It felt more like maybe
No.
we're watching like a CW drama.
I was gonna say Dawson's
Um,
Creek or something. Yeah.
yeah, but still, like, but
With an
it
edge.
had that filmic quality. That's the thing you can always say about Wes Craven is that his movies always feel like movies. They don't, even if the material is not, you know,
Yeah.
up to snuff, it's still like I'm looking at movies, and it's 2010, so it has that kind of washed out look to it in terms
Uh-huh.
of the color, but it's still like it's still serviceable, you know?
Yeah, well, and it predates Scream 4, especially in the nighttime scenes, especially in Bug's house. Like, I was just kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, this is where we were laying the groundwork for the look of Scream 4, because it's either like shadow or light, and it's a lot more desaturated, I'd say, than even like
Yeah.
Scream but
It's a
it's
lot of sepia too.
yeah, is
Yeah.
is is how it feels, just kind of washed out pale greens and whatever. But
Yeah.
I do have to say, like, I watched it with. I love that you brought up the sound earlier because I watched it with my AirPods in last night before bed, and I didn't know how much I was going to make it through, and I made it through the entire thing. So it didn't put me to sleep. I will say
Mhm.
that because I was kind of baffled. I felt like I kept trying to solve the riddle in my head for what is this supposed to be. But even from the beginning, just hearing I love to call him Max Thigh Riot. Um,
Oh, I
I,
started listening to the commentary and he said it and I
no, you don't
forgot.
remember how he
Yeah.
says it. Well,
I think
call
it
him
was
Thigh
like
Riot.
Theriot.
Theriot? I like Thigh
Yeah.
Riot. Anyway, and that's what I'm
Thyroid.
going to call him for the rest of the pod. But it's
Yeah.
in affection. But hearing him like say the prayer, here now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep, and if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. And which I used to say as a child, so I'm just kind of like sitting there almost saying it along with him. But
Mhm.
like you mentioned it with the prologue, like the introduction of just kind of like this idea of the Riverton Ripper, and I wrote down what's the name of the Abel's wife? Was she Sarah? Do you
Beats
remember?
me.
Okay, because they
Mrs.
mentioned something about
Babel.
they said Sarah, they said Leah, and they said May, and I know who Leah is. That's Fang, and I know who May is because that's the nurse surrogate mother for Bug. So I was like, Sarah got mentioned,
Yeah.
so is that the mom? But I don't remember.
I
Anyway, the mom.
guess.
I just kind of
Yeah.
loved her.
Mom.
She had a very flat delivery. Where she was kind of like, "Come to bed. The news is too scary for me to watch alone." And, I'm watching Raul Esparza, whom I love. He's a big Broadway actor, and he was also in
Hannibal.
Hannibal, the
Yeah.
series. Yes, was so good in it. I'm watching him play Abel Plankoff here, and immediately I'm watching, and the first thing I thought, even though I've seen the movie before, I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, he's got dissociative identity disorder,
Yeah.
or he's possessed." So right off the bat, I'm throwing off my game and I don't know. So I'm like, okay, I have a question mark over my head as to like what happened with this one because that was one thing I think we lost with our riffing was like, which I might need clarification on as we move through
Yeah.
this
Why
together.
don't we,
Yeah.
yeah, why don't we do the housekeeping and then
Okay, we'll do
we
that and
can
then
do the
dive in.
premise of the
Okay.
movie and where you can
Okay.
watch it and all that, before
Yeah,
we forget because sometimes we go on too
that's
long
true.
and
We've already done
these
it.
openings, like our act ones are,
Our prologue
yeah.
is like 30 minutes now, so
Absolutely. All right. So, thank you for choosing this podcast. We appreciate you for coming here. And if you are new to the Cherry Picker, if you've been coming back for a while, we appreciate your viewership. And if you would like to give back a little bit more, you can head over to my Patreon account at patreon.com/Zack Cherry, ZACKCHERRY. And with your support, especially at the Freddy Krueger tier, you will get to have access to these episodes as we record them on a live stream. As you can see, there are comments that are flowing through the middle of the screen if you are watching this. And actually, I want to read something right after this.
Oh, okay.
And So that's one perk of being a supporter, but also you get to decide the content that we talk about. So the last episode of every month, we hand it over to you. You nominate the choice for movie or theme that you want us to discuss, and then you vote on it. And that's happening next week. We have a winner, and that is going to be Whatever Happens to Baby Jane.
Whatever
Uh,
happened to baby Jane as she
and
walks down the
down the
street?
street. Well, let's save it for next week. Let's save it.
I can't help
And
that, yeah.
that's and I mean, beyond that, I should also well, I'll finish up with this, but yeah. So if you love the podcast and you want to keep the engine running because Patreon really is the thing that's keeping the engine running, head over there and support us any way you can. Even if you can't afford it, just join as a free member and you get an extra vote in the cherry picker poll every week in terms
Hey,
of who deserves
influence.
to die the most. So
Nice.
there's even perks for being a free member. So
Yay.
yeah, appreciate everyone who is here and supporting on Patreon, especially the top tier supporters who I'm going to read off now. So thank you to the Michael Myers tier, Kyle Beard, Sam Levy, Ali Hamouche, Shane Allingham, Tim McKay, Horror Slut 95, Traj 125, Austin Hall, Cara Day, Michael Boswell, Defcon, ML Hughes 99, and then thank you to the Ghost Faces, the Ghost Face,
Can't do
Eric
this.
Champney, Daniel Saturn, Stephanie Starbright, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, Craig Lynn, Josh Burrow, and Brian James. So thank you very much.
Woohoo!
And as I was going to mention, tomorrow, next week's episode is especially special because this is your very last episode as a co-host.
Next week, yeah.
Yes, next week. Whatever
Yeah.
happened to Baby Jane?
Get it while the getting's good,
Yeah,
children.
get it well taught. Um, so anyway, with that said, Edward, what is this movie about, and where can they find it?
Well, I've got a premise. I wrote it basically. I decided the voice. We have a lot of voices we'll do later. This one, though, I just wanted to deliver it like someone who's actually like watching, either watched the movie and is trying to explain it to someone else.
With a sibilant ass?
Not even a sibilant
Oh,
S. I
okay.
can't. I'd rather. It felt like my core
Hmm.
was speaking to me, and I wanted to do it this way. So I think you'll get it as I go.
Hmm.
So when a serial killer or the ghost of a serial killer isn't slain at the lake by one of the seven teenagers who share the same birthday as the date that the killer was allegedly put to rest already, the killer returns to his hometown to stalk or kill the 17s, leaving them to wonder, will it be next my soul to take? Huh?
Sure.
There you go. And
Where?
it's not currently streaming on any subscription-based platform, but you can
Hmm.
actually find it in its entirety. I was informed by the feed actually, of the
The
Patreon.
old fade.
Yeah, that you can find the entire movie is basically burned on YouTube. I hope it stays there. 'Cause yeah, I mean, if you want to rent it like I did, I found it on Apple TV Plus and I gave them
Hmm.
$4 for it. It's $4, you know. But
Cool.
if you're low on funds, go to YouTube. It's there, free. Just stream it. And
Yeah.
oh, there's a Blu-ray. It's only on Blu-ray and DVD. There is no 4K as of now. We'll see if one's in the works later.
I always loved because I have the Blu-ray and I
Mm.
owned it for probably 10 years until we watched it, whatever that was 5 years ago. Um, so I've had it for 15 years, and it's always interesting to put on like old Blu-rays from that era because the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that comes up is like an ad promoting Blu-ray media.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the state of the art, like hot, like cutting
Oh,
edge, high
yeah.
definition, all your favorites in 1080p, and just like explosions and stuff. But then, like
Yeah.
after that, they start to show trailers for movies. They're just
Oh,
like these
wow.
long forgotten relics that I just like. It's
Oh.
either movies that didn't even know existed, or it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, whatever happens to that. There was like some Jason Statham action movie that I'm like, okay. And then there was like this sci-fi thing with Eric Balfour
Oh,
from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm like,
yeah.
that does not look familiar to me at all.
No, 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 no.
But just like, yeah, it's almost more fun to put in an old movie like that and just watch the trailers beforehand because it's just such a blast from the past.
Those were also back in the days when they would have ads for Blu-ray, the glory of like Blu-ray and high def and everything like that, but they would even
Yeah.
have them on DVD and to try and show you the difference in terms of the quality. They'd show you like the screen of the DVD release and then the screen of the
Yeah.
Blu-ray release. And I'd be like, but I'm still watching it on DVD, so it's not really like an
How does it
accurate
know? Yeah.
advertising,
I think they
but
just turned down the resolution for the
yeah,
DVD
and
version.
made it
So you're
fuzzier, like
really,
made it look
yeah,
really shitty.
yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
But
propaganda, propaganda.
but it's propaganda, but it's true. I mean, like Blu-ray obviously looks better and 4K looks better. Depending on the movie, some things don't need to be 4Kified.
I agree.
And there's even some like 4K transfers that are like abysmal.
There's
So
an art to it. You have to
yes.
understand. We don't need to see every crease in the face, but yeah.
It's yeah, that's a whole other discussion. But
Yeah.
I wanted to read in the chat because there's actually a few.
Ooh.
Okay, Mr. K Churn said, I tried to put closed captions on and they were not available. I guess they couldn't find a transcriber to sit through the movie. So yeah,
I would
that
have
was
done it.
because I had the captions on in mine, which is something that I've been doing a lot lately. And it's not because I'm losing my hearing or anything like that, but just there's movies, especially something like this, where there's so much information that's just
Hmm.
laid out very quickly. It's like I feel like I need to see it on screen so I can, read it, especially when you have like people come in and like when Fang is introduced, I have no idea what she's saying. Like they're talking about like um Bug gets a 3 and Alex gets an 8. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know what
right.
that means. And I still
Oh, I
don't know what
do.
that means.
Oh, I know what it
But
means.
okay, cool. I mean, I have an idea, but it's like
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'm like, all right, I need to be on the ball. I need to be ahead of the game so I can understand what is being said here. Or else I
Yeah.
have to keep rewinding shit. And I don't want to rewind shit. Um, so that is a bonus for having the Blu-ray media, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Okay. Okay.
Amethyst Frost is saying it felt like it wanted to be Identity and Scream mushed together. I was
Hmm.
thinking about Identity because they all have the same birthdays, and I won't go
Yeah.
into spoiler territory for
But my God, does it go in some other
Identity.
directions than Identity even? Like, at least
Yeah.
Identity, like it's on the rails. I don't feel like
Don't
it ever
you at
goes off the
least
rails.
Identity. Identity is at most. That is an at most movie. That movie is everything.
Okay.
I don't think we ever found out what day it was. Like what date do you
Oh,
suppose this is all
the
happening?
date that they had all the same birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down if they did. I don't think it, I don't know if
Yeah.
they didn't, then it's obviously not pertinent. It's just why because you want
Yeah.
to know what signs of the
I
zodiac they
want to
are.
know what season it
Oh
is,
my
like
God. I mean, it looks like fall. There's a lot of leaves in the woods.
it's definitely fallish.
Yeah.
So that could be, I mean, it could be anywhere from
Oh
Virgo to
God. Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna make me ask,
Sagittarius.
aren't you?
Yeah.
So what do you think they all
Oh, I
are?
have no idea. No, I didn't even think about that. I was
Oh,
just
you
like, I want to
didn't?
know the date. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm putting you on the spot. You put me on the spot all the time to rank shit. What
Yeah.
sign do you think they all are?
Mm, I don't know. I'll think on it and I'll come back to
Okay.
you later.
It'll come out in the
Yeah.
discussion, I'm
If
sure.
if anyone in the stream would like to weigh in on that,
Yeah,
you're
that's
more than
fun.
welcome, Shu. Okay, Grant Dempsey is saying it's like if you took Donnie Darko and mixed it with Sorority Row and My Bloody
Oh,
Valentine 3D.
Ooh, very, yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, good. I
Okay,
concur.
interesting. I've seen Donnie Darko once, and that was one that it's
Oh,
weird.
yeah, I've seen it a
It's a
few
sh
times, but I
it's
saw it back in the day, like when all the hype was around it, and I remember it was
yeah.
kind of totally my wheelhouse when it got released. I was just kind of
Mm.
like, yeah, this is weird, and it doesn't entirely make sense, or maybe it does, but I feel like it's so subjective, like everybody can talk about it, like it was right up my alley
I
at the
don't
time. If
hear
I
anyone talk about Donnie Darko
Every
anymore.
now and then I'll see it in someone's story on Instagram or something like that. But no, it's not. And that is another weird one that like we should be seeing Drew Barrymore just shrieking her lungs out, every other
Hmm.
day because it's great.
Yeah. And then Grant also says, "What's otter, like otter, not otta. Uh, that
Or
gathering of
odd.
the Riverton Seven early in
Yeah.
this movie, or oh, it's a question. What's otter? What is otter to you and me? The gathering of the Riverton Seven early in this movie, or the pub gathering of all Michael Myers' past targets and Halloween kills."
Halloween Kills is weirder because it doesn't make any sense that those people would be convening, at least the Riverton Seven. At least it makes a little bit more sense. It's a little bit more small town. What else are we gonna do, kind of thing.
I mean, but the thing is, like I have no idea what is going on in this scene. Whereas, like, even as unbelievable as the Halloween Kills pubbery of it all is, I feel like it's at least it's a very simplified concept that's being presented in terms of what's going on, even though it makes no sense. So I would say
Well,
that this is odder.
but see, at least there's some kind of like rhyme or reason to this, like the assembly of it all. Okay, I'm unclear as to like, I guess, again, what the end game is for these characters to be convening in this way. But again, I'm not from a small town, so I think I just kind of attribute it to the fact that like it's tradition and it's something that connects them. So it's something that like if you're not there, all that's going to happen is people are going to be asking you why you weren't there for like a week. So you may as well just show up, even if you don't belong. But
Mm,
I mean, okay, because I'm glad you brought all of that up because now we can like dive in because the number of you already discussed like the dump of exposition that we get like one after the other with this. And I
yeah.
think that's probably my major criticism for at least opening because it seems like it could have opened in a very, very simple way where we just kind of get the town, get the kids, and get, okay, so what's the conflict? And instead, I get kind of all of this background info that I don't know that I really need as of yet. Or I don't know if I need it spelled out for me in a line of dialogue. I feel like there's other ways to illustrate visually, like the point that like this one of the last things that we get is just in this whole sequence is that Riverton's tourism is basically dependent on this phenomenon that happened for the past year, I guess. I don't know
Mhm.
how that gets tracked in a year. I guess all of a sudden people were all year traveling to
Yeah.
Riverton to where's the Ripper? Where are the seven? Is it
I
really,
love
like
I love that it's
yeah.
like the complete opposite of the new I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right.
We
And
needed
actually
we
it's not
needed
a
that
year. It
pod
isn't a year. We have to say we
yeah,
have to point
it's
that out. It is
16
16
16
years,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. We
But
needed that podcaster to come in
that investigative
from the
journalist.
investigate or even the ones from Halloween. Yeah, just
Yeah, all
come
right,
in
somebody to
and
show. Yeah, you know what? See, that's but again, podcasts were still, like in their early
was he
stages.
listening to a podcast when he was because it sounded like he was listening to a podcast on the Condor.
I couldn't tell if it was a podcast or if he was listening to a documentary.
It said in the captions radio
Oh,
announced, but it's just like that's very convenient that he just turned on the radio and there happened to be a very
well,
specific, yeah,
synthesis, like
yeah.
everything is colliding together. That's another thing. Like, if it felt like it was all leading inexorably to, I mean, one of the movies that I think encompasses this perfectly is Carrie with The Prom. Like, that
Mhm.
is literally where like all of these forces are colliding and something inexorably unavoidable like happens that has to happen. Fate led us here to
Yeah.
like watch that person, this person, that person, and all these people reverberating from like the effects of like all of these things that are so had to happen like perfectly so the dominoes could fall the way they needed to, and now ka-ching, tragedy. And with this movie I don't even feel like there's a big climactic tragedy moment. I feel like there's just kind of like piecing things together, going, "What? Who? Why are you here?" And anyway, okay, but
Yeah.
I'm jumping ahead though. I want to. Okay, so we find out that there were 7 births in 1 hour the night that Abel Plankoff was killed, and among those 7, like those people. It's introduced by, I thought her name was Joan, but it's spelled Jean, so I guess she's Joan or Joan, Jean, but it's Michonne from Walking Dead,
Okay, right.
the one who gets the knife
And
neck wound.
survives.
Yeah, and survives with like a fucking
And
scar,
doesn't
like
age a
doesn't age
day
once. No,
in
she looks
16
gorgeous.
years. Yeah.
I fucking love her. But
Yeah.
again, you have Michonne. Why are we not using her? But anyway, she introduces the whole thought of like not that it's not. I guess in certain cultures, multiple
Mhm.
personalities are not a thing. It's a multiple souls thing because the difference is with multiple personalities, they die when I guess the host body dies.
Yeah.
But when they die, if it's multiple souls, the souls live on and inhabit other people, which is part of the lore of what happened to these kids.
Right.
So then she gets her spurting neck wound. But
Mhm.
so I'm like, okay, I'm with you, I think. Um, but I was so confused because also I thought, so wait, does that, and I was confused for a long time. I wondered, so there were
Mhm.
7 births and he had multiple souls. Does that mean that he had 7? And that one soul dropped into each one of these kids? Because I that was unclear to me while I was watching. And then later I
Well,
realized, oh, it's a mystery surrounding who absorbed his multiple
like the
soul,
Ripper's soul.
the Ripper's soul. But
Yeah.
if it's, wouldn't it be more interesting if like he had 7 identities that dropped into 7 children that were born? That wouldn't that make more sense? And then we have to wonder, okay, well, let's make a list and cross
Yeah.
out who we thought got each identity, because then maybe they can find like some records or something, some medical records from Dr. What was his name? Dr. Blake, and find out like he had 7 personalities or 7 souls,
Yeah.
and these were the characteristics of each one. And then you spend like kind of like what you
Yeah.
do with Zodiac, like sit there and almost like do detective work and figure out like, okay, so which one do we think went into each of the
Hmm.
Riverton 7? I feel like that already is a more compelling story.
Dr. Blake, by the way, Harris Yulin
Oh
from
yeah.
Buffy,
Uh-huh.
the head of the Watchers Council.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that actually that would clear up a lot of confusion. I guess the thing is because like if a soul is like leaving the host and then it's just like going into 7 different vessels, does that mean that each because like all of these babies before they're born would have a soul, so now like each one has like 2 souls,
That's the
sort of like
thing.
idea. Yeah, it's just like your way of thinking about it is much more coherent.
Yeah.
I think that would, and just like a definitive like yes, this is the killer because this is the killer's reincarnated identity
Right.
or whatever. Even if it was just the idea, it doesn't have to be identity. They could have still gone with the soul, but it didn't have to be this whole thing where like the new killer was like juggling different souls or anything like that. And that's
Right.
even then that's confusing because throughout the entire movie, Bug
Yes.
or Adam is
Hmm.
like he's channeling everyone else's energy. But the
Yes.
thing is, it's like he's doing it before they even die. So I'm just like confused. It's like, what is
Right.
happening? It's really not established. Like they say that he was like in mental institutions, but that's a thought that's really never
No.
established or like or
It's just
proven
to make him
beyond that.
suspect the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this scene where it's almost like he's Gollum and he's like sitting on
Yes.
the rock and he's just like
Yes.
going into everyone like he's just like he like my precious. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, fat habits. I can't do a good Gollum impression, but
Yeah.
no, and I agree because that you're right. I thought about that too. I was like, okay, so maybe that's another thing. It would be interesting if he were absorbing them. Oh, okay, and here I go, all Nightmare on Elm Street Dream
Mhm.
Master. But like, if he could absorb the souls as they were passing away, and then they start manifesting that way. But again, if we're supposed to be suspecting that he's possessed by the soul of his father, his biological
Mhm.
father, Abel, then you're right. Why is it manifesting as the personalities of these other children? Because that, or these other teenagers, because they no longer have a connection. The only thing that connects them is the birthday. So maybe there's something cosmic happening about them all being born like on the same night. So there's an interconnectivity there that we never do anything with. Like that could have been a
Mhm.
whole other branch of lore.
Yeah.
Like maybe he could be like absorbing. Oh, see, I'm going all Dream Master. Maybe he
But
could be absorbing like the strengths that he needs to go toe to toe with like the
yeah.
whoever is being inhabited by Abel's body. I mean, by Abel's soul. I'm
Yeah.
so confused.
But even like beyond that, like just the idea that in this town there were seven babies that just like happened to be
Yes.
born at the exact same time,
Yeah.
in the same proximity. Like this is not a huge metropolitan.
No.
So yeah, a lot of it, like maybe if they were like born in other places and like they just sort of like ended up there,
Hmm.
speaking of Buffy, just like how she just was destined to end up on the Hellmouth in
Right.
Sunnydale.
Right.
Yeah, there was a lot of things, and I agree with you that I think that the movie would have benefited from withholding information and just kind of like revealing it slowly over the course of the movie rather
Hmm.
than all up front at the beginning in just like a very ham-fisted way. And especially because it's just one character who's pontificating all of this. Like it's almost like it frustrates me the same way that Scream 6 does when they're in the park and they're all sitting around and Mindy is just like she just dominates that scene in terms of dialogue. Nobody else is really saying anything. And it's like
Yeah.
we're introduced to all these characters here in My Soul to Take. And the only one that I'm really getting a sense of is Brandon.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
Bug, just because like, it's just like, well, you're late. I was like, I was sleeping, like, at least gives us that much of our main character right away.
Hmm.
So the fact that it's just like we're doing this huge expo dump and that it's all like one character who is saying it and like his whole thing is like, yeah, I'm like the tough jock and I bully all these kids and yada yada yada. It's like it only goes so far.
Yeah.
So you kind of check out at a certain point because it's a long monologue and he's basically going through all of the characters and describing them in a way, which is just feels like again, like we're not being introduced to them or really recognizing them based on who they are, but really the perception of this one character and really kind of like narrowing it down to like basic traits
Yeah.
of like, yeah, this is the guy that like makes puppets and stuff, and she's hot. That's the hot girl. And then like here's the God-fearing one standing over there.
Hmm.
Oh my God. And she looks, that actress, the redhead looks exactly like
Penelope.
Grace
Yeah.
from Will and
Oh, you
Grace
you
in
thought
that
you
in that
thought
shot.
that.
No, but and it's only in that shot of the movie. Like it's only about her hair in that
Uh-huh.
scene that I
Uh-huh.
just see that. But
We're getting help from the feed here. I just want to like
yeah,
show
please.
some of this off. Amethyst said I was keeping an ear out for the zodiac purposes, and no, I don't think they said the birth date. But
Mhm.
they all have different personalities. There's not one sign they would all share. Well, they can all be Geminis. Duality. But
Well, Aquarius is the sign where it's just like no two are alike, they
Oh, well, there you
say.
go. They could
Yeah,
all be Aquarians then.
yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Maybe they are because, like, I mean, I guess February is still considered winter, but
Yes.
um, where was it here? Wait, I saw something. Where was it? Spring. Someone mentioned spring,
Springtime.
springtime. They
Yeah.
mentioned, where did it go? It was
When
just here. Did it
Mr. K
delete?
turns says when Brittany and Brandon are heading into the woods,
Oh, that's
she
right. She
mentions it
mentions it is
is
spring,
spring. Yeah.
if that helps narrow down the zodiac sign. So, okay, so that I missed. Does not
Yeah.
look like spring, but okay.
Yeah. And this
Then,
is also I mean I know it's filmed in Connecticut. I don't know if it's
yeah,
supposed to be set in Connecticut.
sure. It
Yeah.
looks like it.
Okay. Yeah.
And Amethyst says, oh no, Grant said, he says in the climax, I guess this is Bug, that he's absorbed the other's souls. Yes, he does, but my point is that he doesn't do anything with it. Like
Mm.
it doesn't really have any impact. It doesn't kind of like it doesn't seem to clarify things for him. It doesn't seem to make him any weirder than he was before. It doesn't give him focus. It doesn't empower him. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like one more detail that doesn't really feed anything about, it just
Yeah.
I think if anything it feeds the weirdness. So there we go. Because it's just more
Hmm.
mystery. It's just more like, well, then what does that mean? But at a certain point it stops feeling like mystery and starts feeling like how sloppy. But anyway, okay.
Mm, yeah.
But you're bringing up like all of these people, and I just want to point them out by name. So we got Jerome, who is blind and sweet. That's all we
And
really know about him
can I just say that we had no idea that he was blind when we did the
until,
initial reaction
yeah.
until the very end of the movie when he like came out of the closet and we're just like, wait, is he blind? Because he says
He
a line when
does.
they're running away from
It's like
in the
his
woods.
third or fourth line.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just like, well, I'm blind. Well, and he's carrying
Yeah.
his I don't know what
Cane.
you would call it, but
His
it's like
cane.
one of like the folding up ones, but
Yeah.
it's folded up so it looks like a lightsaber or something.
So, okay, so we've got him, and we
Yeah.
don't really spend that much time with him either.
No,
Don't really learn
no.
anything about him. We get Alex, who's basically like the BFF, who we do get to learn quite a bit, and he,
Yeah.
I guess because he's introduced as
He's
a victim.
he's the whiny one.
Well, I don't even feel like he's whiny because I feel
He's got
sympathy
a
for him.
whine, but you can have feel sympathy. It's just like the cadence of the characters just like gets very whiny. You
Uh,
mentioned this when we did the reaction.
I said he was whiny.
Well,
Aw, okay.
you parroted him as whiny, so
Oh,
he
okay.
has a lot of
Well,
whiny
maybe it
moments.
was just about a line delivery, but no, I
Okay,
just
sure.
think, but I mean, he's the one who's like suffering like physical abuse from like his stepfather and everything like that,
Mm,
and who we're in spoiler territory by now, so like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
revealed that he is actually the one who I guess is possessed, not born with. That's another
yeah.
thing that fucking just trips me up because apparently he has his own soul, but the able soul dropped in, and so he's got his own
But
duality because
Not even Abel's soul, whatever the
yeah,
soul
whatever
of
the darkness
The
in
Ripper's
that
soul,
was
yeah,
inhabiting Abel,
yeah,
which makes it even more confusing to me because I'm like, okay, so now we're in like Pazuzu territory, or the, or you're inviting a clear invitation to the dance from Exorcist 3. Anyway, okay, so then we got three. Number three is Jay, the first victim, who the only thing we really learn about him that I remember is you spit. He learns it from his grandma. You spit in the river
yeah,
or the lake so that you won't be attacked by Abel
yeah.
Plankoff. And then we got Bug. The fourth one is our Thigh Riot protagonist,
Hmm.
our anti-hero. Then we
Yeah.
got Penelope, who's with the God-fearing and all of that, like very, very much kind of like on her own frequency. That's another thing. I kind
Yeah.
of wish every one of them, I don't know, was attuned to something different. I don't know if it needs to be an element or a deadly sin. I think about what other seven things there are. There are seven deadly sins. So what if each one of
Hmm.
them is kind of like embodying something like that? I don't
Represented
know.
the sin.
Yeah, something like that. It
Yeah.
would have been interesting, but
What's her sin?
her sin. Ooh, I
Yeah.
don't even remember. Like, there's gluttony. Is there
So pride,
lust?
lust, greed, sloth, gluttony, envy, wrath,
I would maybe pride because she pretends to have the answer.
pride. Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I mean, she's so sure of like the things that she's saying.
Yeah.
I don't think she's an unlikable character either. I think she's just, again, what I like about her is that she's weird, but like, why aren't they all weird in their own specific
Yeah.
way? Like, some are weird, some are just kind of typical. Like, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brittany, who's our slow-mo girl, the pretty girl, the one who Bug, uh, loves or secretly has a crush on. And
Yeah.
then, of course, number seven, Brandon, the problem. That's who he is to me.
Problem.
Who gets kind of dimension right before he's taken out.
Okay.
I don't mean for sympathy because I don't sympathize with it, but I'm just kind of like, okay, you at least have a point of view and you know that you're an asshole. And I think a lot of assholes do. And then they just kind of shut it off. They're just in denial of it and just kind of continue. It's easier just to kind of like continue pummeling forward and protecting your vulnerability by creating this visage of just kind of like a badass who no one wants to mess with and something
Yeah.
someone to be feared. It's better to be feared than to be nothing. I didn't say
He
you were
looks a
nothing. You didn't
lot.
have to. I could tell. I'm doing Shelley from
Yeah. That the actor looks a lot like Max Theriot, but like taller and with like different hair. That was one thing because I was looking at him and like they have the same face.
Oh, I don't really. I mean, I think Thyroid's. eyes and nose are a little bit more sculpted.
Thyroids.
But Brandon, what I liked about him was I think he gave one of the strongest performances in the movie because I didn't doubt once that he was who he was supposed to be on screen. Like there was
Oh.
something almost accidental about his performance, even the way he kind of I can't even do an impression of it, but like his
Mhm.
lines just kind of fell out of his mouth, and I was just kind of like, "Oh, you're dumb, but you're like a dumb, sad kid who never wants to be seen as the dumb, sad kid." And I thought, so I don't know, it made him kind of interesting. I like that actor. I'd watch him in something. Okay.
He sadly passed away
No!
in, I think it was 2016, in a road accident.
Fucking,
Yeah.
oh, damn. Okay, did he, he has other credits though, right?
Let me look that up while you continue.
Okay. Okay, so while Brandon is the one who's introducing the whole lore of the Riverton Seven and everything like that, I don't feel like it really kind of scratches the surface in terms of like getting me any closer. But because he
Hmm.
talks about how Abel's ghost, and I'm like, who made this up? Abel's ghost is in the river and must be slain. How do you do that? Or the
Hmm.
Riverton Seven will die. What? And every year for like the past 6 years, since they were 10, I guess, or well, 11, one of the seven has, I guess, stood watch or whatever to do battle with Abel if he rises to keep him at bay and to keep them all alive. And Bug is the only one who has not done it. So it is his turn. What? And then out
Yeah.
comes someone dressed up. So is it purely ritual that we're trying to achieve, or are they trying to scare a bug? Like I couldn't I already was starting to get lost there.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you could glom onto that?
No, there was, and I like forgot, like what how the movie ended, because I think the way I had remembered it is that the friend was the killer, and it was just sort of like, the idea that he was just killing and like using this as
Yeah.
uh, like a guise, or just to make people think it was more of a supernatural thing. So I was just like, oh, no, all of this noise is just meaningless. But it's yeah, it's not like it is and it isn't, but there's just so many threads that it doesn't really connect to any of them. Nick Lashaway was the actor who played Brandon.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a lot of TV, but I think the only other movie that stands out here was The 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he played Boy at Health Clinic. So this would have been
Okay.
5 years prior to this movie's release.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, okay, well, I'll just have to keep looking at his credit and just make my way through the movies, and
Yes.
because he's really, really good.
Hmm.
Okay, then we're introduced to the next kind of like leg of exposition, which is, the possibility around, or the suspicion that Abel's not dead, perhaps,
Hmm.
because someone stole his clothes back, and according to Bug, why would a thief ever steal clothes?
Mm.
And so I guess it's trying to like put the question mark above everyone in town's head, like it could be anyone. He could have gotten plastic surgery. He could have, had anything done to like appear like
Yeah.
someone else. So it could, so
And that was thrown out like in the midst, like they're hiding from the police at that point because they come and they're breaking up
sure.
this little circle jerk in the woods, and they're hiding behind this log, and they're just like not being very quiet at all. And I think it
No.
was Jerome that was just saying, yeah, he could have got like plastic surgery, or maybe it
Yeah.
was the other kid, I don't remember. But yeah, it was just like all these different red herrings, if you will,
Yeah.
that are presented that are never really followed up on. But it's just like the movie is so, it's just like it presents all these threads. That's not one that really ever goes anywhere, but like all the other ones that it does, like it just keeps flashing them throughout the movie, but it's never like definitively any, like it doesn't know how to hone in on them. So it's
Yeah.
just like you're constantly just wondering like what is going on. And and by the end I'm still like, I guess like like you said, he was possessed, and
Mm,
it's like he was actually a good kid, and and
Yeah.
didn't mean to do any of that. He has that line. He's like, everyone just needs to stop killing everyone. Or
Yeah.
like,
But I mean, it could
okay,
be, but
what?
it makes me think about
After he
Showgirls.
like after he killed his stepfather that we find out,
Yeah.
which is
But it
something that
just
we don't
makes
even see on screen.
Well, it just makes it also, I don't know, for some reason I just hear the line like, everybody gotta stop killing everyone. Just like, people got AIDS and shit. I just hear it from Showgirls. I don't know why. But because it's just
I
like
was
a
thinking that
weird,
too. Yeah, yeah,
simple exclamatory
yeah,
line that you're like, okay,
yeah.
whatever. I guess it's true.
Yeah.
But
It's like,
okay.
it's like we've taken this too far. You know, it's like a
Right.
little bit is okay, but now's enough. We got to stop
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before things get really out of hand. And
Yeah.
there's Des meowing at the moon.
Meow.
She'll stop in a second.
That's
It's still
fine.
windy out here, poor baby. Okay, so then the Ripper gets to Jay first. And I remember seeing that the first time and thinking like, "Oh fuck," like it felt like an actual threat.
Hmm.
I don't like people running at me and shit like that. And it just kind of
Hmm.
because we don't know who it is, we don't know whether it's like supernatural at this point or whether it's like an actual person just adorning the garb or whether he really did survive. Like it's still kind of got like a threat.
Yeah.
And with the fog going and everything about it, I don't like bridges at night over water. Fuck me. But
Yeah. Got to pay
so
the troll toll.
yeah, the troll toll. You got to pay the troll toll to get into this boy's hole.
Oh.
But then immediately, like the next thing you were talking about the radio show, we're exposed to this already idea laying the groundwork of the California condor because it eats death, keeps souls, and becomes larger and wiser as a result. That's why their wings span or is so kind of
Hmm.
like impressive and why they manage to like live as long as they do. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, this thematically I can see like we're trying to connect souls and absorbing them is like something that like doesn't exist just within humans, but within like all living or with certainly these living creatures. There's a connection, and like maybe that's why it's appealing to Max Thyriot. I need to call him Bug to Bug,
Yeah.
and also like I guess why maybe the affinity that he's feeling comes from the fact that he is a California condor who's absorbing
Yeah.
souls, which it turns out
Well,
he
there's
is.
also
Yeah,
the fact that he's like Jay is the character's name.
yeah, the
Because
first victim.
he is the one that like creates these designs, these costumes.
Sure.
So he dies, and then like the next thing that happens is Bug like wakes up in his bed and immediately has
Yes.
the urge to make this thing, which he said in the
Right.
previous scene that he's just like, no, I didn't even like I start on that or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
it was almost like the soul of Jay possessed him and got him to make this weird fucking condor
So he
get
could
out,
vomit all over Brandon.
vomit
and
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 poop.
then shit all over
Yeah,
Brandon.
yeah, yeah,
Because reasons.
yeah.
Which I mean again, I'd feel like if there were as the and I'm such a nightmare bitch, like Nightmare on Elm Street, I mean, because
Hmm.
like if as they're being yes.
No, I was gonna say, no, it's all right, keep going.
No, now you have to say it.
No, I just
What?
like is your like nightmare bitch when in clarifying in terms of Elm Street, I just thought
Yeah,
yeah, not the
right.
other nightmare bitch.
I'm such a bitch for nightmares just in
Yeah,
general. No, I am not. But
just a nightmare and a bitch,
no,
all
Nightmare on
rolled
Elm
up into
Street
one.
bitch. I'm
Yeah.
a bitch for that saga. And I love the fact that like as people tend to get stripped away, it can oftentimes bring the survivors closer together and more
Mhm.
aligned to fight the force. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen in this movie.
Yeah, just
But
like Alice in four. I don't
yeah,
smoke.
I don't smoke. But we don't get a moment like that with with Sweet Bug. But okay, this was the moment the first time I wrote it in. We're
Yeah.
22 minutes in at this point, and I'm already feeling left behind. It's like daring me to pay attention. As
Mhm.
but again, it's making me feel left behind in the sense that I feel like things are happening to them and I'm not quite on board. Like I'm not like, yeah, like I'm not on the forward momentum of the movie. I'm not even kind of, basking in the exquisite nature of the subjectivity or anything like that. I'm just kind of going, wait, what? Okay, something's going to make sense at some point.
Mhm.
And I did okay, because this okay, another thing that So, okay, is Bug supposed to be just like spectrumy and maybe even possibly have his own dissociative identity disorder, or not even disorder, but maybe just his own kind of like hooks into like other things, like he's a radio picking up other channels, and sometimes the dial just hones on the strongest channel, and that's what he ends up being. Because the way he shifts, and I love the performance from Max Thyrriot because he does it perfectly. Like he just kind of shifts from this sweet, we've seen him be like this kind of quiet, like cringing kind of, hey, I don't really know anything. I just kind of offer, things that I say, but I question everything.
Right.
All of a sudden he speaks with confidence and command of the room, and I appreciate it from an acting standpoint because it's a seamless transition, and I believe both. But I'm just like, what does it mean about Bug? Because again, like you said, we already introduced this, like talking about him being Gollum and everything like that.
Hmm.
Is this Jay channeling through him, or is this just another personality of his, or another soul that's piggybacking on him? Is he just kind of like a Pennsylvania station of souls, just kind of traveling through him and just kind of, I'm going to put it on. But see, the thing is, I had that question, but then immediately, or a few moments later, he's doing that. He's kind of, hey, I'm Crazy Eddie, and I'm sorry, prices are insane, kind of, command. And then all of a sudden, the teacher's just kind of like, oh no, that's enough. And he's just kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just, trying to make it the best presentation I can. So I'm back on this thing, and so I'm like, wait, so is this like a decision that he can just kind of shift into? It seemed like he was in control for a second. So I have no idea what that whole thing is about. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you had any theories,
I
or if
don't.
anyone
I
in the
mean,
feed does.
that's just gonna have to remain rhetorical unless someone knows. But yeah, it's just one of the things you go with. I mean, like the movie after this point takes this whole section out to do the whole thing, the whole scene in the bathroom, the
Yeah,
jawbreaker scene that
right.
you
All right,
talked about
bitches,
earlier.
out.
Which what does that scene really amount to, other than the fact that his phone ends up in her purse, and I
Hmm.
guess like he gets in trouble because he's
It
found in the
incriminates him.
yeah the girl's bathroom.
Right.
But like the incrimination like is like we spent 10 minutes on this whole bit so that the cop at the end could show up at the house
Yeah.
only to get
Oh,
like killed within seconds. Like it's just like little details like that that require an
yeah.
entire sequence in the
Okay.
film is just like that to me is baffling.
The only other thing that I think it gives us that I don't need, but I can see what Wes Craven is trying to do with Fang, because all of
Hmm.
a sudden she's a formidable force. People have been saying Fang, 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 and we haven't really been exposed to her in
Yeah.
a in a
Well,
in
she'll
a
beat the
grand
shit out
way
of
yet.
you.
Yeah. But okay, so she um we find out, like, not only does Fang have kind of like dominion
Yeah,
over
Dominion.
the
Yeah.
school, yes, but also we find out that she influences Brandon, because okay, this is the thing where we get to the numbers.
Hmm.
Brandon punched, who did he punch first? I think he gave
Bug.
he gave Bug a 3, and then he gave Alex an 8.
Yeah.
And immediately I was just kind of like, oh, well, just on the level of intensity with the punch
Yeah.
that he's throwing, it seems like a 3 is just kind of like,
On the
ow,
Richter
fuck.
scale.
And an
Yeah.
8 is like a, ow, fuck, and it
Yeah.
checks out later when they're talking about, like, I think because you find out that the ranking system is born with Fang. And she just kind
Yeah.
of tells Brandon, go give this person to this and give this person to that. And then she checks up on it. Like, she not only issues the assignment, but
Yeah.
she tracks it with fucking slow-mo girl, Brittany, in her office, which is the ladies' room, the
Yeah.
girls'
The
room.
Fang Zone. Yeah.
So she's yeah, so the Fang Zone. Thank you. She's basically the CEO of the school, and you hear like Alex talking about how Fang must fall. So they have to like topple the government,
Yeah. Her
that is the
regime.
unofficial
Yeah.
government, not student council, but like the real
Yeah.
infrastructure of the school. So okay, she's assigning and tracking the number of intensity level of her boyfriend's punches, which doesn't make any sense to me because we rarely, if ever, I don't have any real strong memories of the two of them being in a scene with each other, Fang and Brandon. it's always talked about, but really
Yeah.
he seems to be chasing fucking Brittany
Mhm.
mostly the whole time. And they even talk about it when he's trying to get, I guess it was a hand job from her, from Brittany. And she's kind of
Mhm.
like, what if I tell Feng? He's like, well, go ahead. Feng knows what I need. I really was
Yeah.
confused. I'm just like, why? Is it a power
It's a
thing
it's a
with
very
Fang?
political movie all of a sudden. And yeah, you're right. They don't share any scenes together, which just makes it all the more frustrating because it's like we're just being told about stuff rather than seeing it,
It would have been an
which
interesting
always
dynamic to
sucks.
witness
Yeah.
firsthand, to see her actually doling out,
Well, like I said, there would have been many things that
yeah,
were mentioned in this movie that would have been interesting to see, such as the stepfather being killed. Like the movie took its time to introduce that character.
yeah.
So where's the payoff with that?
I mean,
So
I think the payoff is just to kind of lay the groundwork for what a monster Fang is, that
yeah.
then we gets turned on its head when we, because I mean, I don't think anybody's surprised when we find out she's the little girl in the beginning of the movie who,
I was, and you were too,
oh, the first time I
in
saw it.
when we did the thing. Because if you go back, you're like, that's his sister.
No, no, no,
That's
but no, that's
exactly
not finding
like.
out that she was the one there that night. I was
Oh
surprised
no,
because,
but as soon as like you find out that that's the sister, I put that together immediately
well,
that
I
that was
didn't,
the
but
girl.
okay, yeah, but I, no, I was more shocked that like she was living in the same house as him because there was no groundwork laid to tie the two of them
Yeah.
together as like a makeshift brother and sister dynamic. All of a
I
sudden, she's
mean,
living in a house going "Happy Sweet 16th,"
if
and you're like,
there's if there's we talked about how like the film does like just dumps everything at the beginning and there's not really any surprises. So I think if there is a surprise,
that's true,
it is that reveal. But
yeah,
that's really all there is. Like
and
and
also,
that's the midway point of the movie. And
right,
but it's one of those things that like if I can justify the whole bathroom stuff and like the high school politics because you're watching this and that actually aids the reveal later because you're just sort of like, what the fuck is this bitch's problem? Like, why does she have it out for her
well.
brother?
And she's
And
a formidable force even
yeah,
when she's a child because she has that line
oh, she's
when the
scary.
detective is trying to get her off the bed and everything. She says, "Get away from me." And I'm like, "Oh, so we went from one
So
speech impediment to the next." Like
so
she
now
had
she's the
a,
kid from 13 Ghosts all
yeah,
of a
she
sudden.
mom got burned in a fire. But
My
she
mom
says, "Get
got
away
stabbed by a
from."
serial killer.
Yeah. She lost her Elmer
Yeah.
Fudd kind of Barbara Walters, you know. I don't even know what you call it, that W in the place of R and
Yeah.
L, and she instead got the sibilant S. But I don't
Yeah.
know if there's a word for that. But anyway, I
Not
thought that was
sure.
funny. But she, okay,
Well, okay, so her
yes,
deal is because like we find out that she's 19,
you're
and that she's been held
right.
back a year or
Jesus,
two. I don't know. It's yeah,
it doesn't make her more formidable to me that she's
yeah.
19 in
It's just
high
like
school.
you're held back, and all you go to school to do is to just like torment these
Right.
16-year.
To be in control
Um,
of everything, to be the
and that's
goddess
where
of the school.
that's where we start to get a lot of more exposition dumped, courtesy of Aunt May. I just put that together. Peter Parker.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
um, but okay, so that actress is what? Well, she's famously known for
Her
being
name is Jessica Hecht. She's the wife of Ross's ex-wife
wife on
on
Friends.
Friends,
So
and
this
she's also
Carol.
she's a notorious, yeah,
Well,
Carol's
She's Susan.
Susan.
Carol is Ross's ex.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And Jessica Hecht is also like a prolific like stage actress in New York and kind of all over the country in the US, but
Mhm.
she works on Broadway
But she was
often.
on Friends, so that's
And she
everyone
was
sort
on
of
Friends, so that's
recognized
what everybody
Friends.
knows
Yeah,
her from. And
yeah.
I even remember from like it wasn't a spin-off, but it was like the same, I think it was the same creative team. Jonathan Silverman starred in a sitcom that went right on it piggybacked right on Friends for a while called The Single
Mhm.
Guy. And she played Jonathan Silverman's best friend in that. Completely different character from Susan, because Susan was kind of, she wasn't abrasive, but she had her defenses up because she didn't like Ross in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But then when she was on Single Guy, she just was like this earth mother, just like the warmest, sweetest person in the history of the world. And then you realize, oh, she's an actress. She can do anything, and she can.
Mhm.
Obviously, we see her. I think she gives a really, really good performance in this. I just feel like the movie kind of does her a disservice because she's such a background character until she's not. She's in the
Yeah.
foreground and then she's gone
Yeah.
because she gets killed.
Yeah.
But
I mean, well,
her
like many characters in this movie.
that's true.
Yeah.
Just
Speaking
getting
of, I think
introduced
the
and
I
then
think the
stripped
last
out.
time we see what
I called her
the Joan
Joan, but it's
character.
Jean, Jean,
Joan? Well,
Jean.
because like there's this whole bit, and maybe we see her after, but I don't remember. It's when they find Jay's body
Yeah.
washed up on the shore. And I love that they're just like, so what happened to him? I don't know. Do you think you can like find out if maybe he was stabbed or whatever? And it's just like, just look at his shirt. Just look at you see like
Well,
he's
I
got a
also
stab
love
wound.
they talk
And
about like she says some Joan says something
yeah.
like he it could have been alcohol or drugs or something like that. And that's when what's the other guy's name? The
Oh,
other
the
detective. I
actor
wrote it
is
Patterson, but yeah,
yeah,
Frank Grillo.
Grillo.
But Patterson is the
Grillo or
Grillo. I
Grillo?
think it's Grillo, but
Yeah.
anyway, Patterson is the character's name. So Patterson says like, well, something to the effect of like, well, we're in AA together, and he's my. Does he say he's my sponsor or something like that? But he's just like, we're in a. I'm in the same AA chapter as
Yeah.
he is. He's just kind of like, oh. It's like, oh, okay, then he could never get drunk.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't fall off the wagon and like
I
drink
also
that.
I also love we kind of skipped over this part, but it's in the
Oh,
beginning in the
yeah,
prologue because this is presumably taking place in 1994. The
yeah,
prologue is like 16 years
sure,
previous.
sure.
They're watching the news. I guess there's just like security camera footage
All
of
right,
the
right.
Ripper kill, and they're just like forensic technicians were able to enhance the image, and it like zooms in and just like clears up the image of this knife, and it's just like vengeance, and it's like shown
Yes,
so clearly. And I'm just again, I'm thinking like I love the absurdity of the opening, so I like excuse it, especially for just like how
sure.
hokey it is. But I'm just thinking like Wes Craven wrote that. Um,
Well, I mean, that was pretty. I mean, it
yeah,
was like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a trope by
yeah,
that point. Like, enhance, and you
yeah.
can't do that.
But it's just funny going back in time. Like, here's the thing. I think that like Wes Craven is like was a like phenomenal director. I
Yeah.
don't think that like his all of his scripts are all that great.
Hmm.
Like in terms of like the movies he wrote, and obviously
Hmm.
like Scream was not written by him, but he had a huge hand in rewriting certain things and fixing it. But like I mean, he understands movies. He knows what he's doing. Actually, I wanted to read something that it's maybe off topic, but I was looking up trivia on Reservoir Dogs randomly. Well, because I guess I was thinking, since Quentin Tarantino currently is like back in the public
Headlines.
consciousness. Well, I
Yes.
mean, like as we're recording this, like Kill Bill has been re-released in theaters as like the whole bloody affair. So it's just like, that's a thing, but he's also, doing his Quentin Tarantino thing and talking shit
Mhm.
about people and nothing
Yeah.
new. But everyone's acting like it's new. But I was looking at Reservoir Dogs because I never really liked that movie. Like it was just always kind of the one movie is of his that I'm just like, like I've seen it once and never really had the
Oh,
desire to watch it again.
all right.
But this was a very interesting trivia. I posted it on Instagram. Wes Craven famously walked out of a screening of Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs in 1992, and Tarantino famously said, "I can't believe the guy who directed Last House on the Left walked in," but he would be like, "I can't believe the guy who directed Last House on the Left walked out of my movie." Uh, and Craven responded, "Last House was about the evils and horrors of violence. It did not mean to glorify it. This movie, Reservoir Dogs, glorifies it." So, I mean,
Wow.
even if this is true, because you always have to
Yeah,
be,
when you read it, you never
careful
know.
about things on the internet. But
Sure.
even in that sense, like it's just like, even though Wes Craven's not all of his scripts
Mhm.
are desirable. Like it's just like he absolutely knows like thematically what he's doing in any sort of property. And that's where I feel like there is something stronger, or there was with this movie, and it must
Mhm.
have got lost in in studio meddling or the translation of it all. Because I know, like as I said earlier, it was
Uh-huh.
really the opening prologue
Hmm.
and the last act that were the most changed from whatever was, asked of him.
Right. Well, I mean, there's, because again, like, I feel like there's symbology at times here. There's even very kind of like we live in a society, kind of like social, I don't know if it's social commentary so much as just kind of like, but this is a microcosm of like, the way we live our lives and everything like that. One of them for me was just kind of like, I guess, again, something that kind of really doesn't get explored at all, but it's introducing the idea of Brandon impregnating Melanie, the
Mm.
principal's
Principal's
daughter,
daughter, yeah.
and Penelope is in her prayer group or prayer chain, I think is what she says. So she agrees
Mm.
to pray with her near the pool.
Yeah.
I guess so they can have
A pool
privacy. Yeah,
thing, yeah.
and while she's carrying Brandon's spawn, they sit there and they're praying, and then Penelope hears something and she just kind of leaves while Melanie's still going. Mel is sitting there. I can't remember if she's even praying at that point. I think she's just talking, and Penelope just leaves her, and
Yeah.
she goes off to investigate a strange noise. And I start wondering, okay, is it a supernatural something that's happening then? Because it feels very
Hmm.
Nightmare on Elm Streety, like a person just goes on talking while someone walks off and explores the other thing because that's dream logic.
Yeah.
But it turns out, and
Yeah.
then when she returns, Mel's not
No
there.
running in the hall.
Yeah, exactly. No
Yeah.
running in the hallway, Tina.
Mhm.
But no, because then she comes back and Mel's missing, which also kind of aligns with the nightmare
I
logic
think
that
that
could be introduced. But what happened?
I think that Melanie just sort of like she stopped praying, looked up, and like, where'd this dumb bitch go? And was just like, fuck this, and just and left.
I mean, it
Like
all.
rude. Like it's like, come on.
But then Ripper gets Penelope second,
Yeah.
and then we get Principal Pratt indicting Bug, and Bug tells him your daughter's pregnant.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so I'm just like, okay, where are we going with this? Like, Bug's in trouble, and I don't understand what's going on. But then we
Yeah.
get introduced to Edgar, I couldn't remember, he's called Edgar, so I thought he was a raven for Edgar Allan Poe. But they
Right.
talk about Condor and Crow later with Alex and
Oh
Bug. They
God.
call
My
each other
brain is
Condor and Crow.
melting right
Yeah, I
now.
know. So I'm like, so
Yeah.
maybe Edgar's a crow. I can never tell when I look at them. A blackbird, that's either a raven or a crow, soars over Brittany as she races away from Brandon, and then she sees Penelope's corpse.
Well, she sees the hair.
Yeah,
We just,
first.
but like just a little bit of hair, and she like, but she's just like, Penelope, is that you?
I
Like,
guess she's the only redhead in town.
I guess so. But you don't even know if that's a person. That could just be like a wig, or it could be like a like a shawl that has like some like textured fabric or something. Like
And
it,
also with the
she,
abundance of costumes that people have
yeah,
been wearing like the last few days, you'd assume that she'd kind of like maybe think like, oh yeah, is that someone's wig? But no, I guess she
yeah,
recognizes the hair. I guess she looks at it and sees
yeah,
like Penelope before she sees Penelope.
mm,
But then, okay, then what follows is like I just wrote Brandon on the phone with Ripper feels reminiscent of Scream big time. And we just
yeah.
discussed New Nightmare with Heather Langenkamp picking up the phone. And it just makes me want to go through all of Wes Craven's filmography to see how many times in non-Scream movies do people, hello? You know?
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking like, why didn't they just get Roger L. Jackson to do the voice here? Because it just feels like even like the
Oh.
intensity, because like before he runs up and stabs him, it's like almost like the I don't think you're in the hospital. It sounds like you're in the parking garage. But if you'd like to go in the ho be in the hospital, I'd be happy to put you there in the fucking morgue.
You should have done it.
Yeah, in the fucking morgue.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Chucky should have been on the other side. Oh my God. At some point for like a
I can't believe you
fundraiser or
said
something,
yeah.
you need to screen like whichever Scream movie you prefer, whichever has the
Yeah.
most ghost face phone calls, but dub over all of the ghost face voice with Chucky voice, with your
Chucky, oh
voice of
God, no
Chucky.
thank you. But it was even reminiscent of in Scream 3 when Patrick Warburton gets it when he's like, Dewey, he's like, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
That makes me angry.
Yeah, right.
Like that was basically that moment, yeah.
So Ripper gets Brandon third, and
Yeah.
then he gets Brittany fourth.
And
Because
then no
remember,
one for a really long time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because
and
there's
that's
just
when I
three left at that point. Yeah.
that's when I just wrote the note. If Abel had seven personalities and those all went into the Riverton Seven Ways, one personality frequently inhabited by, because I still didn't understand what was going on. But then
Yeah.
we get Bug's little birthday celebration with May. That's when I really
Yeah.
started feeling like the Scriphorum aesthetic there, and finding out that Fang is Leah, and all there's so
Yeah.
many lines that she says where it's just kind of on parade. She's like, I did the first one, but I also have somebody's got to bust his cherry, and God works in mysterious ways. And
I killed Lish. I killed the
I
teen
killed the teen
dream.
dream.
Deal with
Deal
that.
with that. So
Life's a bitch.
aggressive.
Life's a
But
bitch, then you die.
yeah, right.
No, Fang, you're the bitch. So
So
aggressive.
aggressive.
Punch, punch, punch.
All right, bitches.
It
Out.
is. You are so clueless. It is stunning.
Of course, you know Marshy Fox,
Yeah.
Foxy,
Well,
and
well,
Cordell.
she
But
like
anyway,
alludes to him being like, it's just like you're so innocent, and
yes.
that actually that brings up a good point because it seems like everyone in town is aware of Bug's past except for Bug, and it just there's nobody telling him. Like I think it's sort of alluded to because like when Alex is just like, yeah, you're the son of a mass murderer, like whatever that bit is, and it's just like you knew, like why didn't you ever tell me? And I don't, and I guess it was just reasons, like
Yeah,
whatever,
reasons.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I will say again, like every now and then, like Wes Craven will do something that seems kind of like either poetic or even just like real life poetry. Like,
hmm
and for me, it was Bug's line to May after he discovers that she's not his biological mother. And he
yeah,
said to her, I thought it was really sweet. You're not, and it really moved her. I thought it was kind of sweet. He said, "You're
hmm
not my mother, but you are my mom. That one you're stuck with, whether you like it or not." And he says it kind of like devoid of any emotion, like it's just something that he
yeah,
accepts and the way he sees the world, what he's comfortable with. And it's almost like a gift to her because I think she always worried that if he ever found out, it'd be like an ultimate
yeah.
betrayal or something.
God, what
And
a busy night too. Like there's just so many truth bombs that like none of them are really like landing in a way because it's just like God, like I'm finding out so much shit. But it's almost
right.
like and it's funny that identity is mentioned
Yes.
or Amethyst mentioned identity because like that's a movie where you also like look back, it's like these people have no recollection of like what came before the current events that they're
Hmm.
in. And it's
Yeah.
just like there's something about this movie that feels like that too. It's almost like these souls have just sort of like been placed into this exact place and time. And it's just like you wonder like, is this all like happening on like a higher plane? And maybe there is no Riverton. And
See,
it's
that
just
would have
like
been interesting.
these are just memories that are
Very
playing out inside
identity.
someone's head.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because I mean, okay. There was something interesting that Grant brought up a little while ago. The feed has, or maybe I'm just not getting it anymore, but it looks like the
Yeah.
feed has gone cold. People are just listening at this point, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. But Grant said,
People are here though. Yeah.
yeah, you're all here. But okay, Grant said, is there anything to say of interpreting the movie as Bug being insane and Alex being exactly right, that he inherited his father's psychosis and things haven't happened exactly the way he thinks? So is Bug, I guess, implying that Bug might be an unreliable narrator, that we're seeing it through his
Yeah.
lens?
I feel
Like,
like I would need a Scout Taylor Compton H2 ending where Bug is sitting like at the end of this like long white hallway and the California
yeah.
Condor just comes sort of like walking up with
Ooh.
his mother.
Oh my goodness, with his
Yeah.
pregnant mother all dressed
Yeah.
in white. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, because you mentioned like the busyness of the night, and you're right, because Fang that same night, like the moment after his exchange with May, with Bug's exchange with May, Fang gets the news about the 1 through 4 of the Riverton Seven, and
Yeah.
believes that her father is still alive, and I guess it's introduced if he lived for some reason, he'll come back as Abel, but if he died, his soul only went into one of the Riverton Seven. That was the first moment of clarity I gained as to like the lore, I guess. And then
Yeah.
because it was spelled out for me. But then Alex comes in. We find out that he killed Quint, I guess because They were
Yeah.
struggling. I don't even, I'm still unclear. Like, I guess they were struggling and he fell down the stairs and I guess he just didn't help him.
Landed on a knife,
Landed on a
like,
knife.
who
On a
knows?
knife.
I
But
also the more Scream illusions, just like people coming and going through windows,
yeah,
and almost
totally.
like that should have been like the clue of just
It's very Kevin
that.
Williamson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean been like Dawson and Joey. Is that
Yeah.
Katie Holmes
There were two
character?
things, images with the mirror that I really appreciated. The first one was when Bug, right after Jay's death, I think it's the morning after his, you know,
Very Jason Takes Manhattan.
yeah, he looks through the mirror and it's all water and Jay
Yeah,
is like floating toward him and everything like that and like reaching for him
Jason.
and stuff. That was pretty cool. And then I
Yeah,
also liked it later. It was reintroduced with Penelope, where she's
yeah.
just standing on the other side of the mirror. But it was something I hadn't seen before
Mirrors,
and it was
mirrors
eerie.
freak me out. You know, like
She,
mirrors are
well,
scary.
because it's
Yeah,
her, she's on the other side where his reflection should be, and you
yeah,
saw her hand go up against the mirror from her side, the other side
yeah.
of the looking glass, and when she pushed, the door
The
moved, and I was
medicine
like,
cabinet.
oh,
Yeah,
that's creepy. That
yeah.
I'm shaking my hand like, oh, oh, I don't like that.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. These are the pockets of greatness.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And then oh, I kind of appreciated like a little Marion Crane nod I felt with her white bra into her black bra when she turns toe to become a thief. And I feel like Bug loses his innocence when he takes his stabbed white t-shirt off and puts on his black shirt while he's having yet another exchange with
um,
Alex, I think. Is he talking to Alex at that point or is he talking
Alex is
to
in the room at that point.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And it's just kind of like, and again, the one thing that I appreciate about that point in the movie when he is putting on the black shirt is like it's so uh there's no equivocation as to, like vagueness of just kind of like evil and good at that point. You're just kind of like, who's the bad one? Who's the good one? Who's the one I can trust? And who's like the hero?
yeah.
And because he's adorning black, literally like a cowboy changing his hat from white to black at that point, if we
Yeah.
ever were a Western, you're
Or the
kind of wondering,
Gale
was it
Weathers
him?
Scream
Yeah,
2, changing out of her,
exactly.
taking off, removing the black jackets
Yes, to
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 reveal,
reveal
yeah,
the hero inside. But is it a
yes.
reverse version of that where it's like we're starting to realize
Yeah.
like it was Bug the whole time,
I
you
mean,
know?
I believe it because I think that Wes Craven was always very cognizant of the power of costume
Yes.
in movies.
Hmm.
So that absolutely. Mr. K Churns is saying, I'm trying to figure out how the blind kid climbed up to Bug's second story bedroom window.
Didn't he made
It's
some kind of mention about
he,
how
he
hard it
he
was.
was
Yeah.
talking about like he said that he ended up on the roof, he was knocked
Yeah.
out, and like there it was that at that point it's just like okay, like, we're almost at the end. This is the home
Right.
stretch. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's very capable for being blind. Like they when they're
Yeah.
in the woods and they're all leaving, they all
Yeah.
disperse, and he's basically on his own to walk home. And it's just like you're in the middle of the woods. There's rocks, there's trees, there's like hills and all this shit. But I mean, I couldn't speak as a blind person and know how to get
No.
around. So maybe it's not that tricky. But yeah, there's a suspension of disbelief with that character.
100%.
That and
Jerome.
it's just like, how did you end up here? Why are you here at the end?
No.
It
Because he needs to
feels
die. Because we
he
need to
needs to
clean it
die.
up and have it the last two standing of
And
the Riverton
and
Seven.
and it's funny that it's like because he dies and he's dying and Bug is just like you don't you see you saved my life. I would have been dead if it wasn't for you. And I
Yeah.
just get like the 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 black savior and all these movies of just
Oh,
like we just
sacrificing
the
himself for the
sacrificial.
white kid. Yeah.
Yeah, which I actually one movie where I
Oh,
feel like that was I saw it recently, like maybe like 5 years ago, was Mimic, the
oh,
one
okay.
with oh my gosh, what's her name? Mira
Samira
Sorvino.
Sorvino. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a character I forget which actor played it, but that was essentially like his arc. It's just like, well, I'm
Mm.
gonna, just it's my time because I gotta save them. What's the other one? The Annabelle with
Yes,
Alfre
Alfre
Woodard.
Woodard.
And she's
Yes,
like,
I fucking hate that climax. It's so stupid. Because it could have just
it's
been the mom.
yeah.
It literally could have just been the mom, and I would have been fine. I would have actually
Mhm.
felt like that. Rewatched that movie maybe a year ago, because it was streaming on whatever I was
Yeah.
subscribed to, and I was just like, okay, I'll give it another shot. I only saw
Yeah.
it in the theater, and I didn't realize I like a lot of the ride of that movie until the climax. Like once we get to the end, it's just like fuck you.
Well,
But
there's a lot of characters in this movie, and like one of them is
yeah.
Jerome's sister,
Oh
who I guess
yeah,
is like part of Fang's posse.
I guess.
Like she's the Julie or the
Lookout.
yeah whatever yeah but there's just it's because there's all this dialogue. She's like, how did you know? Or like, no, if you do that, I'm going to tell my sister and she's going to tell yada yada, when
Yeah,
they were threatening Brandon. Like there's just like all
sure.
these like yeah, because I'm connected. I've got connections with that. But she's
Yeah.
introduced and she's like, why are you hanging out with them? You should be hanging out with them.
And
And
completely discarded. Yeah.
that character only really comes back in the bathroom scene, and
Yeah.
that idea, like everything to do with Jerome, is just sort of like a non-existent throughout the movie.
Well, this is where we get
Um,
to a point where I'm curious about the order everything was shot, and I'm curious about like what was he supposed to be in terms of his tie to Riot, to Bug. Because Bug, that's the most emotional we see him in the entire movie is when
mhm.
Jerome is dying. Like tears are falling from his eyes and he just feels completely lost. It's like the floor is being like taken out
Well,
from underneath him.
it's almost like in House of Wax when they see the brother and sister, they like run past like everyone's dead body, including her boyfriend,
Right?
Jared Padalecki. But then no, they get to what's his face, Bobby
The
from
little
Scary
guy.
Movie,
Yeah.
and there's just like no, not
Josh Abramson, I think.
okay, yeah. I forget the character's name.
Or John
I think it's
Abramson?
Dalton. They're like, not
Dalton, yeah.
Dalton, like anyone but Dalton.
Right.
But he gets the fanfare. So
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like there's no rhyme or reason. It's just sort of like we need an emotional beat, so we're gonna put it in here right now. But my question is like, what is the creative decision to make him blind?
I, I, your guess is as good as
Yeah,
mine.
because I feel
Again,
like that just like introduced more roadblocks than it actually did for
maybe
the
something for
solutions.
him. Maybe it's supposed to be another theme, just like his sister sees the political infrastructure, so she marches in lockstep with it. Because he's blind, he doesn't see the infrastructure. He only knows the voices and
Yeah,
sounds of, like the people who matter to. I have no. I'm just pulling it out of my ass at this point,
yeah.
but. I do have to say, just from an aesthetic point, I did appreciate, I don't know, I got a little bit of Griffin Dunn in American Werewolf in London from Alex in his little green jacket in his final confrontation with Bug at the end.
Mhm.
I don't know, just because of his little mop of hair and because he's a little character actor, young and everything like
Mhm.
that. And so I don't know, I got American Werewolf in London from that. But also, I've got when Bug finally puts it all together about like what's going on, I still didn't get it, but he like kind of not drones, but fires off like rapid
Mhm.
fire, like the exposition of just kind of like, wait, but if you did this, then this happened, and if you were doing then this must have been the killer, and that person must have died because of this and everything. You were trying to cover up this and everything, so it must have been you the whole time. And I just got like Christine Penmark from The Bad Seed when she's discovering Rhoda is a killer. It's like, wait a minute, Rhoda. I remember one night you were up in Mrs. What's her name's, bedroom, and she said that she had a thing that you always wanted, and then she said that she went over to get it, and then she wasn't going to give it to you, so then she ended up falling, and nobody ever thought that she was going to fall, so she fell to her
Yeah.
death. Were you ever a part of that, Rhoda? Kind of thing. Like, so I don't know. There is like some little melodrama. I didn't. Again, I wish I understood what we were, what the catharsis was. And I guess I do
Yeah.
in a sense that like okay, we've already covered it like that he's being possessed and he saves his friend by stabbing him and he actually gets to hold his friend in a fit of irony at the end, so he kind of got his friend back as he was losing him. Okay, but I don't know. Yeah, I wish I understood it intuitively rather than just kind of like, I guess that's what happened. Because the end,
Mhm.
then it's all about hero. Like all of a sudden we went from like all of this
Yeah.
weird like contradiction in terms of like the way we perceive people and everything like that and like this gray area, I guess, that we exist in. And then at the end it's all kind of sealed with like, but people thought I was a hero. I don't feel like a
Yeah.
hero, but that's the way they see me, and I guess it's better
Well,
to let them
just
believe it or whatever he said. And I'm
the
like,
narration of it all. But I was like, immediately I was thinking like, oh, you're fucked now, because it's like, here's all these dead bodies. He's got the knife.
But
Like
no.
all the evidence points at like him
Yeah.
doing it, but then he says something about like Fang told them all what happened. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, there we go. So that just
Because I
this
guess
just
she's
cleanly, yeah,
if there were
she's a reliable witness.
if there was ever going to be a sequel, Fang would be like the mayor of
Well,
Riverton.
if there was gonna be a sequel, I guess like the souls then went and transferred into Melanie's baby.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
you know what?
that'll be the
She didn't get
requel.
killed, so yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, you know what?
yeah,
I'd watch that sequel just to see.
of
Can you
course.
make more sense out of this movie
Yeah.
than I did? And
There was a moment that I did like I guess it's just sort of like I guess the reconciliation or just sort of like the the, the brother and sister making amends.
yeah,
I think it was just like a quiet moment because I mean like they were kind of cooperating at a certain point when
and
she pulled him
yeah,
into the closet, but when he
sure,
comes out, like right as the credits roll, she calls him Adam, which is his actual real name, not Bug. So it's almost like she's accepting him finally.
yes,
And they embrace and you know that's sort of like the end of the movie, and then we
yeah.
get the crazy credits and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we get the storyboards of scenes that never were. I'm loving this though. Amethyst is like shrieking "Dalton" in all
Yeah.
caps, and Eric saying, "Thank you for the bad seed moment. There's always time for a bad seed moment. Give me those shoes. They're mine. Give them back to me. You give me back my shoes." Anyway, I'm just doing my impression now.
Yeah.
And then Amethyst saying, "Fang is the most trustworthy 19-year-old in high school, after all."
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, she's
I
so
would buy
they
it that adults would be as intimidated by her as the
yeah.
other teenagers would, because I mean she can do some damage.
She's so cool.
When she laid into she's so cool, Hansel, but she's so hot right now. But she no she when she laid into Bug, my God, I was like, why do you even need a Brandon? I guess to
Yeah.
show that you can have one,
Yeah.
but. She is a formidable force. Like that, she went for the balls. She went
Hmm.
for the gut. She went for the nose and broke it. I think because he was bleeding. I'm like,
And Aunt
"Fuck,
May is
girl!"
just like downstairs, like paying no mind to any
Yeah,
of this.
she's like, "What?
Well,
What's going on up here? I heard a ruckus."
yeah, that's the thing that the cops are gonna come in and they're gonna see the busted up dollhouse and the rocking horse and just be
Right?
like, okay, so did the killer also, you know, destroy the shit out of this stuff too? And they'll be like, no, that was
No,
us.
that was us, the
Yeah, no,
survivors.
yeah,
Like,
no, we
okay,
did
that's
that.
not
Yeah,
suspicious at all. But
yeah,
okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't even make a note of it, but it did. It was noteworthy to me as I was perceiving it. I did not feel Fang's cathartic destruction of her dollhouse earned that moment at all. And
hmm
then the only thing that kind of, again, made it soar kind of like low, but
hmm
made it take off was seeing, okay, but it's about something. It's about, again, like meeting each other halfway and about like, even though you just beat the shit out of me, I still don't want you to feel alone. I still do feel connected to you. And only way I know how to like kind of uh, give you that as Bug is to bring in a relic from my childhood, my unknown
hmm
childhood with this horse and everything, but I know what it represents because I saw how angry May got over it. And I'm going to position it in the same place and I'm going to destroy it because I share your rejection of this as our truth, as what defines us. Like I was like, okay,
hmm
there's something I see your work, Wes Craven. I just I need it to gut punch me. Like I should
yeah.
be as inside of that moment and going, like as possible, and I'm
Well,
not.
here's a question for you, and this might frame this movie in a more positive light for you.
Okay.
Um, Comparing Wes Craven against Wes Craven, which siblings do you
Oh.
enjoy more? Uh, Bug and Fang, or I don't remember their names. Jesse Eisenberg and Christina Ricci, and
Oh
it was like is
God.
Ellie maybe,
You know
and
what?
I don't remember. Yeah,
So Amethyst will
yeah,
remember, but I'll
yeah,
tell you, you know what? Well played, because
yeah,
Fang and Bug, where they
yeah,
come from, where they go, and then where they land, 100%. I mean,
yeah.
again, not about the actors. Like I like Jesse Eisenberg a lot. Love Christina Ricci. Um, I think they're both really, really capable actors, but I hated their dynamic in that
Yeah.
movie. I was like, be a better sister, be a brother who like tells your sister what the fuck is going on. I was so angry at them that whole movie. You know what? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Fang
Ellie
and
and
Bug
Jimmy.
all the way.
Ellie and
Ellie
Jimmy.
and Jimmy.
Thank you, Amethyst. Yeah.
Was the killer working on the rocking horse in the basement during the opening scene? Yeah, that's what he was doing.
But
Wasn't he
was he the
sandpapering?
killer in that moment?
Well, I mean,
It seemed like
the Abel.
the
Abel
killer,
was.
the killer was enabled when Abel tripped over that whatever it was and like hit his head or
Yes,
something.
the
Yeah,
Hara was
yeah,
unlocked, was dislodged when
yes,
Abel
yeah.
tripped over the
I also
horse.
I loved the unnecessary jump scare of the wife running into the
Oh,
bathroom
yeah,
to
that's when
hug
you know.
him from
Honestly,
behind.
that's when I knew,
Yeah,
uh-oh, we might be in
word.
trouble.
We's in trouble. Yeah,
No, I mean, as an audience, I think we're going to be in trouble
yeah,
with this movie.
yeah.
But no, okay, so thank you for giving me that. I at least can like kind of embrace,
Yeah.
the way they embrace each other at the end. That was a nice thing. You know what?
Mhm.
I
Well, how
would
did
fucking watch this movie again. I would
Cursed?
fucking watch this movie
Oh,
again.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Cursed ended with because didn't like Jimmy finally got a date or whatever,
Yeah,
and
no.
they left
Mm.
with like the gay BFF
Oh,
and Christina Ricci was just like, okay, I'm just gonna clean
I'm
up
gonna
the
clean up everything.
house,
Bye, guys.
like everything's good. I just
No,
my boyfriend just
no.
tried to kill me, and he's now a pile of dust on the floor. Our house is wrecked of shit.
I mean, I can appreciate that for the ridiculosity of it all, but I
Yes.
cannot. No, yeah, I think this is a better movie than Cursed in terms of the groundwork that was laid, what it probably was trying to say. I can at least see, like, oh, it's trying to say
I
something with
don't
Cursed. There are
know
decisions
about
made. No, there are
that for
decisions that are made
me.
with Cursed where I'm just kind of like, oh my God. Like, I'm angry. I'm not angered
Yeah.
by the decisions in this movie.
I no, I find this is definitely a more interesting movie,
Okay.
My Soul to Take. But I find Curse to be a lot more accessible. Uh,
More of a
mostly like
ride.
mostly yeah, like visually, I like definitely have more fun with it.
Okay.
But obviously there are aspects like I bring up that question to you, like which sibling duo do you prefer? And I prefer Bug and Fang for sure. But I would say, I mean, okay, so if I was to letterboxed either one of those movies, I would probably, honestly, I would probably give Cursed 3 out of 5.
Oh,
Just
okay.
for the enjoyment I get out of it. Like I know it's not good. This one would probably be 2.5 out of 5.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd have to watch Cursed again to see if I would give it the 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might also be a 2.5 because for me 2.5 isn't about like failing grade, 5 out of 10, kind of thing.
No.
2.5 for me is there's as much to criticize here as there is to praise. Or at
Look,
least not even praise, but
yeah.
acknowledge I see what you were investing
The
in.
fact that like we're still even talking about Wes Craven movies that are not, like
Yeah.
the Titans that are Scream and
Yeah.
Nightmare, like just really is a testament to his legacy as a filmmaker because it's
Yeah.
like, you can have like not everything is going to be 100%, but even in that shit, um, and I feel bad for calling it shit, but just like sifting through the ash,
Yes.
there are diamonds to be
In the,
found.
there
What is Brittany or no, Fang says something, she's talking about Brandon. She's like, he what does she say? It's like something about a diamond in the rough or
I don't remember.
there's some analogy.
Sorry, Amethyst, do you remember?
Yeah. Adrian's
But
saying that Hearst had Judy Greer as
yes.
well. But Halloween 2018 and Kills also had Judy Greer and she didn't elevate that
Yeah.
material.
Grant is saying I'd
Um,
watch this over Cursed,
yeah,
and Antonio said I'd rather watch Cursed over this any day. So yeah, it's a mixed
yeah,
bag. Everybody's
yeah.
got their,
But
but that,
Judy Greer
yeah.
absolutely makes like she's the MVP or the cherry on top, if you will.
I mean, I like the fact that you brought it up that like here we've surpassed the runtime of the movie itself, which by with our discussion of it, I believe, aren't we? Aren't we past the?
I think we're pretty close. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
if you could, and Yeah, so I mean that's an achievement. I didn't walk into the fact that I didn't walk into this podcast tonight thinking like, oh God, what the fuck am I even going to talk about with this movie? It was more, I think I said it. Where do I begin?
Hmm.
There is so
Yeah.
much to pull
Yeah.
apart and examine, and I think that in and of itself is valuable. So there you go. Yeah, not my
Absolutely. Yeah.
favorite, but oh, and also just well, something about the end and like it bringing it all to like some kind of like and that's what it was all about. Here's the thing that you can take with you. Uh, Another thing that echoed kind of Scriforum for me, and I always like the ending of Scriforum. I know you liked it less than I do,
Yeah.
but just in terms of like, and so
The
here's the
narrative work.
irony of everything you've
Mhm.
just been watching.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's an interesting kind of partner in terms of like the last two films that Wes Craven was at the helm of. So I can
Yeah.
appreciate it
All
for that
right.
respect as well.
Okay. Well, you said it. We're over the runtime of the movie, so let's get to the cherry picker.
It's not like they kill people on purpose.
All right. Cherry on top.
Thigh Riot.
See, I think it's Fang.
You think it's Fang?
I think it's Fang. I don't know. Like either or is fine for me. He
Okay.
absolutely carries them. Like he's doing a lot here.
He
So
does, and he
yeah,
shows
I
up
think
like
yeah.
the talent was apparent from like
Hmm.
day one as far as I'm concerned with this kid. But I mean,
Yeah.
how about the two of them? Can we do the two of them? Can we do a
Let's just
joint?
do the two of them. We've done it before, I think. We've
Yay!
done it. There's no rules when
The
it comes to
best
the
brother sister duo in a Wes
yeah.
Craven movie ever. No, wait, there's Roman and
Um,
Sydney, and I like them, even though they hate
Roman
each
and
other.
Sydney. Actually, speaking of, so Emily Mead is
Yeah.
the actress who plays Fang.
Mm.
I don't recognize, a lot of these movies that
No.
she's been in or shows, but she was in something called Nerve, which I have not seen, but it stars Emma Roberts
Oh, okay.
and
No.
from 2016, and her character's name is Sydney.
Oh my God. And they're two
Yeah.
like Wes Craven teen queens. Oh my God, that's great.
Teen queens.
Teen scream
Teen
queens.
queens. I killed Fang. I killed the teen queen. Deal with it.
Jellicock
Deal with that,
and
Marcy.
Cordell.
Yeah.
We can't all be up
We-
to speed.
no, it is just like, I don't think we've met what with the cruel politics of high school and all.
Yeah. You sound like Sean Connery when
You
you
know,
do
Sean Connery. I like to give a woman a little slap every once in a while. Keeps them in line.
Shaken.
Just use your backhand. It doesn't
One
make a
martini,
bridge.
very dry. Shaken. Not stirred. Anyway, okay.
Push,
What are we talking about?
pushy. I must be in heaven.
Oh, Mr. K says, can the end credits be the cherry on top? No, we've already made the decision.
No, no. All right, then. All
Oh, and
right.
Grant says it's been a pet before. Let it be an inanimate object this time. What, like the condor
I don't
costume?
know. The pet it was Buddy from Single White Female.
Yeah, but if it was going to be
Hmm.
like an inanimate object from this movie, which inanimate object would it be? I'm thinking condor costume
Sure.
or a horse. Or a
The
dollhouse. Though a dollhouse and a
dollhouse.
horse are like Fang and
Hmm.
Bug, they go arm in arm,
Yeah. I
Can't have
noticed
one
that
without the other.
she Selena Kyled that dollhouse, like it was all like painted black, and then she drank the
Right.
shit out of it, just like Selena Kyle.
She would have been a
Um,
badass Catwoman. She can kick ass.
Emily Mead for the next Catwoman. Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Okay. So last week we asked you who deserves to die the most in Cult of Chucky.
Mm.
The nominees were Dr. Foley,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, versus Chucky. That was your nomination.
Yeah.
Across Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube, the final tally was 419 for the Doctor Foley and 109 for Chucky.
I'm surprised he got any. Thank you,
That's a
guys.
lot of votes for Chucky. What
Yeah.
people hating on Chucky?
No, come on. We'll get the explanation probably.
We
Vocal
will get
minority.
Yeah, let's see what they're saying. So we've got Blue Box. Chucky. This is where the franchise really starts to get diluted for me. And Chucky, as a character, starts losing his charm to too many plot points, characters, Chuckies, and self references that turn into a free for all. Feels more like Marvel's Chucky than the fun Chucky I love so much. As for Dr. Foley, I remember thinking he was very handsome. Hey, don't yuck my yum. I'm adding this in case it's not clear. I'm talking about the actor being
Right, right,
handsome.
right. Okay. I mean, I won't yuck your
Molly,
yum.
Molly, Dolly. Hands, oh, sorry, Lolly. Molly, Lolly. Hands down, Dr. Foley.
Mm.
Oh, rhymes. And I'm going to controversially say The Cult is a far better movie than Curse.
Oh wow. I mean, I ranked it higher than that, so we can be controversial together. Go on.
Tommy K. Bunny, Dr. Foley for sure.
Mm.
Also, do we ever get an answer for what happens to the one armed Chucky? Don't remember him appearing in the TV series.
I don't either.
Spidey fan. There is no question here. Dr. Foley, 100%. Slime Bucket Witch Lady.
Kelly
Even
Slime?
Slime Bucket, Callie Slime Bucket Witch Lady.
Okay.
Even Chucky was like, fuck this guy. Lips of Darkness. LOL, coming in with the worst possible haircut in that movie. Maybe his barber should be on this list.
Oh.
And it's the Chucky's haircut.
I think that's Andy.
What?
When he cut the hair on the doll, or what are we
Yeah.
talking about? I don't know.
And yeah, I guess Andy's the barber.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
have picked Andy. He's been through so much.
Andy. Dylan Jameson. Brad Dourif always knocks it out of the park as Chucky, no matter which version he's playing. So that disqualifies him from ever being voted for. Dr. Foley easily gets my vote for the heavily implied sexual assault on his patients,
Hmm.
and especially Nika,
Yeah.
who I think he says is his favorite.
Ugh.
Joaquin Damian, Dr. Foley, because he doesn't understand and believe Nika about Chucky is
Mm.
real, and it felt. I'm lost. Dr. Foley, because he doesn't understand and believe Nika about Chucky is real. Okay, Chucky being real. And it felt like a boss of Chucky movie. Okay, I'm just reading it verbatim.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Somebody's typing.
I understand what you're saying,
Sure.
Joaquin. Thank you.
Yay.
Mad Apple, Dr. Foley, complete sleazebag. Chucky never deserves to die, even if his barber does. Wouldn't his barber be the dude from Child's Play 3, played
Oh.
by Andrew Robinson?
Right. Right. From
What was that character's
Hellraiser.
name?
You got me. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I got a howling cat. She doesn't know
Somebody's
either.
somebody's Quanky.
She wants company.
Yeah. Oh, are you gonna cry now?
You're not gonna
Likewise.
cry, are you? Oopsie. Oh my God. Look at that. Not another teen movie reference, folks.
Thank
Go on.
you. Yeah. Uh, Gunt. Dempsey. I'm glad Dr. Foley's gonna take this anyway, so I'm gonna toss in a vote for the old Chuckster. Eddie's
Thanks.
right. The guy doesn't deserve to die for all that he's done and all that he maybe woulda coulda done. And as of this movie, Chucky's got lives to spare. So yeah, at least take one of them. With me getting angry because I didn't get the line right. He won't even mind it in the long run,
Yeah,
really. He
sure.
might even get a kick out of it if the death's interesting enough.
Oh, that'd be funny to see, like almost like a gremlin kind of thing. Like they laugh when they
Yeah.
see other gremlins perish. So if Chucky saw another Chucky die, he might laugh
Yeah.
because he's just
Maybe.
that
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And Adrian Phillips, Chucky got that H2O Myers do going on. What the hell is that? I feel like Glenn has more of the H2O Michael look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's shorter, it's more on end. Like
Yeah.
he's just got like a what do they call it? A glow up?
Yeah.
You know?
All right. So I suppose that I
Oh
get the
boy.
first pick of the litter.
Hmm.
Um, that I believe the character's name is Quint.
Ah,
If
the
I'm not
stepdad.
mistaken, the
Yes, that's his name.
stepfather of the Alex. Uh, I don't even remember their last name. It was like Dinkelman or
Yeah, something like that. I didn't write it down.
Stinkerman and
Zinkelman,
he's
Sinkelman,
chewing this
Dunkelman,
chewing
Dunkelman? I don't remember.
Dunkelman. Yeah, there we go.
Amethyst.
Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah,
Okay.
Quint. Yeah.
Cool. I don't care.
Oh.
No, I mean I'm looking at people. I'm just kind of like I watched this movie, and yeah, I agree with you. Like he's a shit. I mean, watching him
Yeah.
bully Alex and everything like that. That it wasn't easy, to
Yeah.
watch. It was like, oh
We
fuck,
didn't even
like
get to see his death on screen. What's with
no, but
that?
just like, but even just watching him stand there and just kind of like, like, come on, what? You don't trust me? It's like, no, I trust you. And he walks through. Oh, because that was another thing we didn't even bring up throughout the movie. It ended up becoming like a huge thing of the like, don't let them get inside your head. Don't show them that they're hurting you. Just thank them. Tell them like, thank you. That
Thank you,
feels
sir. May
great.
I
You
have
know, and everything like
another?
that. Yeah, that basically kind of thing. Without going full submissive. It's more
Yeah.
like, you won't get the best of me kind of thing. And I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
cute.
When they go low, you go high.
Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna go with, even though like there's some dimension offered to him, like if he knows better, he really doesn't need to be behaving this way. So I'm gonna choose Brandon. Um, because there's a threat of sexual violence. Like,
Mm.
I don't like him chasing Brittany like that. That really made me uncomfortable. And especially the thing that made it the most uncomfortable was the fact that he was so casual about it and it felt real. It felt like, I
Mm.
know there are guys who behave exactly in this way and feel justified. Even though they know they're doing the wrong thing, they're still like, well, this is just the way I am, and this is the way I deal with things. And if people are going to take me seriously, then I need to like follow through on my threat. And I'm like, no, you really don't, but you're gonna. The only reason that it stopped was because she found a dead body that you stumbled upon when she was out of, eyesight. And I don't, yeah, it really, yeah, he needed to die harder. So there you go.
All right.
That's my choice.
Fair enough. I
They
put
say
the
his last name when they go down the roster too, but
brand. Yeah.
I didn't write down any of the last names. It's in the script though. Like if
I'll
you watch it with
figure it out.
captions,
I'll
yeah,
figure it
it's
out
there.
before I post the thing. But
Okay.
I put the old palsy in the live chat here for anyone
Ooh,
who's with us. But
yay.
other than that, you can vote your heart, vote your conscience. The poll is open on Patreon first and foremost, as I was saying before. Just, as a free supporter, you can go over there and vote, but throw a little support our way so you can keep this engine running. I don't think I said it that way though the first time I did.
No.
Uh, how did I
You're,
do?
you're posh now. You might
You
keep
Porsche.
this engine running.
Yes.
Iocane powder. There you
Oh,
are.
okay. Piccadilly Square. There's a
It's a circus.
Trafalgar Square. The
Trafalgar Square
the
and
Bulby the
Piccadilly
Bul
Circus.
the
Yes.
Bulby of Trafalgar Square. What's the difference between a square and a Piccadilly circus?
A circus? I don't know. I would
The circus
assume
is round
I
and a
no,
square is
but
square shaped.
maybe. But I mean, a town square doesn't need to necessarily be in the shape of a square. It's
Yeah,
more like a central point for collection
got it.
community
Yeah.
gathering. Whereas I think circus is probably like an abundance of shops and eateries. I don't know.
Yes. Anyway, so you can also go find the poll on Instagram at the Cherry Picker Pod. follow us there and also on YouTube. Subscribe. And if you would prefer to listen to these episodes, the RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. Edward, remind us again where they can find you on social.
Instagram, Letterboxd, in the old YouTube channel. If you type Edward is Truth, one word, traditional spelling, in any of those search boxes, you should find me. How about you, Zach? Where can they find
You
you?
can find me on my main YouTube channel, Zack Cherry,
Where are
ZACK
you from?
Space. I'm
Spice?
CHERRY. I'm one of the Spice Girls.
Oh,
know what I-
really want. If you want to be my lover.
You gotta get with my friends. But it wouldn't be friends, it would be acquaintances.
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 Go to get. I mean, they are English and they say friends. But you're posh.
If you
You're
want-
posh spice. Posh
posh.
sport. Space. Posh space.
Space. You gotta
Posh
make
space.
some space for the posh.
For the Porsche.
For the posh.
It's just.
Is that the Sean Connery with his that he said,
It keeps developing into
I was
something
driving
else.
I was driving in my Porsche the other day.
That's it, Porsche.
Yes, so YouTube, Instagram, and Letterboxd is Retro Bitch Face, all one word. And then on Twitter, you can find me at ZackCherry8. We already mentioned what we were doing next week. Do you want to just
Yeah.
remind us again without any of that bullshit?
I've written a letter to Daddy.
Daddy.
The address is... It's whatever happened. Whatever happened to Baby Jane?
Whatever did happen to Baby Jane?
When she walks down the street,
Street.
all the boys are falling at her feet. There was no one half as sweet.
We will
Whatever
save
happened to Baby Jane? Dun,
music.
dun, dun, dun. Chubby
For
Chucker.
next week.
Yeah, next
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will be right back.